Mm-hmm.
Hello there. Welcome back to another stream with my good friend Stuntman Marq here. This is a shout out and thanks to Predminator once again, who's been kicking in with all the requests lately. Thank you so much, sir. And he's in the chat. I hope you enjoy. And hey, there's Civil Wings as well. Thanks for stopping by. For those in the archive who watch this after the fact, we are going to be doing a live stream of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, the theatrical cut, which I believe is around 2 hours and 17 minutes. And what we'll probably doing for those who see this after the fact is we'll talk for a few minutes, but when I'll count down and pretty much when the Theatrical is ready to start, that's the best way to sync up the press play when the Theatrical logo is at first coming up. But I'm doing well, Premier. I can't complain. Doing okay so far on this muddy, cloudy, humid Thursday in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And hey there, the Bobby and Ty, Godzilla fan for life. I mean, for me, there's no. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, everybody in the chat. I know I'm a bit quiet here. I'm just trying to work out the kinks on this version of T2. I seem to not be able to find the theatrical cut at the moment, but I'm sure I'll get it sorted out and we'll get started in a few minutes. But yeah, shout out to Predminator. Thank you for all the video requests and everything, man. Like it's always really fun doing these, and yeah, I always appreciate it, man. You're the man.
Yeah, thanks once again, Predminator. And hello there, Randy. Hope you're doing well. Hey there, Caleb and Dante. I just, as we're getting ready, for those out there in the chat, you do feel free to mention how did you first see Terminator 2? Did anyone see this in the theater? Did most people see this on VHS tape? Which cut do you prefer, the theatrical or the special edition version? Feel free in the chat to talk about any of that for those who want to. No problem, Predminator. Thank you for the kind words. Ty, good luck on your interview tomorrow. It's always a tough thing to do. The best way to do it is just be calm and make them think like you know what you're doing. You always trick them. So, Silver Wings, your DVD special edition theatrical cut is only on the second disc, which can only be played on the computer, which doesn't work without a specific player. Yeah, it's strange how the theatrical cut, to me, is my preferred cut, but it seems like they're really pushing either special edition or nothing at all. And I hope that's not the case with streaming services where they only give you one option, because that means the other option could disappear or be. And that's the problem when you have these versions. On a side note, like I like the movie Friday with Ice Cube. The only version you can find is that stupid extended cut with the deleted scenes that were meant to be deleted for a good reason.
Yeah.
So I have to keep my old ass DVD that has of the Clipper, one of those like Clipper ones, like Warner Bros. But this was the only some of those old plastic, like the little side clip. I have to keep that DVD because it has that cut of the film. Yeah, shout out to Stuntman for the thumbnails. He's doing a fantastic job on the thumbnails and even the backdrop here. Thank you so much. That's all Stuntman's work. Great job on that.
It's funny you mentioned that about like the those like cuts disappearing, because take for example like Menace to Society, like the Blu-ray that came out is it's the director's cut or extended cut. Same with the Criterion version. It's only one cut on there from what I remember. And that 4K looks great. The Criterion, it looks really good, but thankfully that's a movie where like that cut is actually good. Like the extra scenes don't change anything all that much in terms of quality. Like it's still good.
Right. But at the same time, like, give people the options of both.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you had one that most people saw growing up, give them that option too, not just force. But hey there, the Dins, Chaz, Brazy, Filmo, Part, Boylan, hello there, Angry Mob, T2, the only good Terminator sequel. I can kind of agree with that. I could watch Salvation for what it is, but truly good, yes, I would say T2, yes. As someone would say, you only needed 2 Alien films, 2 Terminator films, 2 Predator films. I'm sure there's others, but that you only needed 2 of. At this point, 2 Ninja Turtle films, because the rest suck. And the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Hey there, Caleb. Hey there. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I'm checking at like everything for this theatrical cut. It is not easy to find. Like, I'm on Prime Video right now, and I think this one is the extended one as well. And the only other movie they have to watch is Genesis. I don't think we want to do a commentary on that one.
At least not yet.
No,
That'll probably be another day. Hey there, Nippy. What are good sequels after 2? I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I love Rambo 3. I love Rambo 4.
Die Hard with a
Halloween.
Vengeance.
Die with a Vengeance, great. Yeah, Die Hard 3. Back to the Future Part 2 is a good sequel. Ghostbusters 2 is a good sequel. Well, okay, after 3. Death Wish 3, Rambo 3, Rambo 4, Rocky 3, Rocky 4. Die with a Vengeance. I like Die Hard 4. I saw it in the theater.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I like Lethal Weapon 3. Rene Russo, pretty great in that. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4 are actually my favorites of that franchise. I do like John Wick 3. Halloween 3, Halloween 4. There's a lot of good sequels after 3. Or after 2, I mean. So, there's a lot of them. It's just, they're not always the case. The better question is, what are good part 5s? Because that's a more rare event.
Oh, yeah.
Good part 5s. Except Fast 5, maybe, if you like Fast 5. I like Fast 5, so.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But, I mean, Goldfinger, yeah, that is a part 3 technically, and that's a good one. Yeah, I like a lot of the Friday the 13th sequels. Hey there, JoJo. Well, I mean, it would take me a minute. Maybe if Stuntman can't find it, maybe we'll have to do the special edition.
What are you watching yours on? Do you have the disc?
Yeah, the disc.
Okay.
But I have to switch it because it's on like a different one.
If it comes down to it, I might have to go grab my disc. Like, I'm digitally, it's just always easier to watch these when we do the stream.
Right.
But yeah, sorry, chat.
Is prepared. Thumbnail ain't ready. What the fuck?
That's what I was gonna say. Sorry, like I'm not prepared.
We had the week for this, man. We had a week.
We so did. It's all my fault, chat. Blame me.
It's all right. It's not the end of the world. How dare you? I need to get my whip. I need to be Leo DiCaprio. Django. Django. You should not have been unchained. Anyway, it's all jokes, folks. You know what I saw the other day? The really shitty trailer. I'll talk about that.
What's that?
That new Wizard of Oz one called Wicked, where it's like the Wicked Witch is evil because of racism. Because it's a black lady playing the Green Witch, and like the trailer kept talking about how green she is, and she
Hmm.
was a decent person, but she's picked on and ostracized, and maybe that will lead her into the dark side. I'm like, yep, that's what Wizard of Oz needed. It needed racism. That's why I have the black lady playing the green lady.
That's not good. Like, I don't know whose idea that was. That sounds really bad.
That's what I'm thinking. Is Disney making this? I mean, I don't know if they own
Probably.
Wizard of Oz. I'm like, yeah, I hate when they try to make the bad guys good or misunderstood. They do that a lot more often than not. Once in a while it can work, but when you do that over and over and over again, it just
Hmm.
becomes old hat. Like, that's one of the many things I hate about Creed 2. Oh, Ivan Drago was just misunderstood. And blah 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 blah. And here's his son. And blah blah. I'm like, no, like they need to give more dialogue. That's fucking stupid. Like he is just a steroid abusing weapon that killed Apollo Creed. And he's much more intimidating in Rocky 4.
Hmm.
Not in Creed 2. But fuck that movie. It sucks, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, we don't have the Hans Grubers, the Clarence Bodikers. We don't have Ronnie Cox from Total Recall. Go
Hmm.
blow this up and be home for cornflakes.
That's one of the best
Yeah, we
lines.
don't have those kind of villains anymore because that's labeled too. I don't know what they label it as, too cheesy or corny or simple minded, or just it's not complicated enough, so that automatically, because it's too quote simplistic, that means it's bad apparently. I don't know.
Hmm. Okay, I think I got it. Wait, let me hit play first just to see.
Sure.
Damn, it says runtime like in the description, 2 hours 17 minutes. You hit play and then it says 2 hours 35 minutes 33 seconds, which is the extended cut. Oh boy.
No, I've never seen the H.G. Wells War of the Worlds released by Pendragon Studios. I don't think I saw that One Country Shape. But welcome to the chat. Hi there, Slasher Fred. I read that originally the scene of the movie where Sarah says two Terminators were sent back in time was going to be used for the original. Uh, yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know a whole lot about that.
I do
Nip
remember.
B, real quick, Nip B, the request we had asked Predminator which cut, and he mentioned the theatrical cut. So that's why. Plus, I do like the theatrical cut more. But I mean, if
Mhm.
it comes to worse, we could always watch the other one. But go ahead. You're sorry. What were you going to say?
Um, that's interesting that he brought that up. I do remember Cameron talking about like the idea for the T-1000 being something that he wanted to do all the way back in the first movie. So
Okay.
that possibly was something that he would, but he said he couldn't figure out how to like make it work. Um, and so he kept the idea, and of course, we see it pulled off perfectly in T2, but it's probably better that it
Mhm.
was saved until later because the technology had finally like caught up and they were able to pull it off really well. The
Right.
practical ideas that they had to do it in back in the mid 80s was not it wasn't great when he explained it, and that's sort of why he like shelved the idea of it. But yeah, so I'll leave it up to Predminator. I mean, he did request this. I only see the special edition, but I could go grab my theatrical cut. So um
We'll leave it. Yeah, we'll leave it up to Premiere. If you're fine with special edition, I can find something real quick online and follow along. If you want the theatrical cut, then say that as well. So it's up to you, Predminator. You're the one who sent in the request. It's up to you, man.
Mm-hmm.
You made the choice.
Yeah.
Do it now. You need to do it.
Do it
You need to do
now.
it now.
Kill me. I'm here. I'm here now. Do it. It's like the best part of that movie. It's just laying in that ditch, begging to die.
No, the Dream Sand Cow Race is only in the special edition. Where's it because she gets the robo dit? That's Dark Fate. That's the code. Everyone gets the robo dick in Dark Fate, especially Ever Furlong.
Oh man.
Silver Wings has a link in the chat. That might be a link to that might be a link to what you're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, it says 2 hours 16 minutes.
Okay. Let me try that. Give me 1 second.
Do it. Do now. Thank you, Bobby. Thoughts on the Jean-Claude Van Damme green screen videos on YouTube? I've seen a few of them. I think those were quite a few years ago. They're funny. Like for people, like they can use them as like Van Damme kind of running with a gun or doing little poses and such. It's a fun gag. It's a fun gag. That's why I appreciate Van Damme. I mean, back in the day, he had issues like Steven Seagal, but I think Van Damme, unlike Seagal, has wisened up a bit. He's been able to let go a little bit of his ego. He's been able to make fun a bit of his image. He's been able to give a bit of more leeway, which I think that's why nowadays it seems like more people like Van Damme more than Seagal. Like there's not as much hatred for Van Damme for a variety of reasons, but I think that's one of them is that he's been more willing to try harder. Even if you don't like the films, you see that he's kept himself in shape. He's tried harder. He's tried different types of movies, even direct-to-video films like Wake of Death, Until Death, In Hell. He's tried a bit more with his acting or drama.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, those videos are kind of fun as well. So I do appreciate Van Damme at least trying, unlike Steven Seagal, who hasn't tried for jack shit.
He doesn't want to stand up for certain takes. So, like,
you don't want to stand up for most takes or fighting.
Yeah, you can pull them all sitting down.
Hey there, the Wise Monkey and Beer. Hello there. Real Kingpin, you saw you saw those 3 Seagal films? Well, why'd you do that to yourself? Yeah, I told you they're all trash. I reviewed those back in the day. I said they were all trash. Just saw my reviews instead. But idea you had to see for yourself. And they are trash. A Good Man. That's how, those titles, A Good Man, Force of Execution, those are your great titles. They're such great movies. He needs a stuntman to take a shit.
Hold on 1 second. That link did not work for me, but I'm going to try it again.
Well, I know it streams when you play it. Or I guess you're trying to download it.
No. Okay, I think I got it now. Yep. There we go. Looks like it's working here. Yeah, we got it. Okay, good. We're good. Thank you, Silver Wings. Shout out to you, dude. Thanks.
Well, I mean, we're quite like back in the day, it was 3-word titles: Above the Law, Out for Justice. But funny enough, his biggest hit was 2 words: Under Siege. So that's the irony of it. But yeah, it was Above the Law, Marked for Death, Out for Justice, Hard to Kill, Out to Lunch, Above the Buffet, Below the Waistline. But yeah, Under Siege was his biggest hit at that point. And like Exit Wounds, that was another big hit. So it seems like if he needed bigger hits, needed 2 words. But for those who are watching along, again, we're watching the theatrical cut. So I see that some versions, if you play it, I just depend which cut you're watching. It'll have like the Steel Canal logo or some other logo. So I just like the best way to sync it is right when the Theatrical logo is starting.
Mm-hmm.
That would be consistent for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're watching the 2 hour and 16 to 2 hour and 17 theatrical cut.
Yeah.
So let me know when you're ready, and I'll count down.
Okay, I am paused at 0.
All right, and before we start, let me get my headphones so YouTube don't make a hissy fit with copyright. And real quick, like, thank you, Bobby. I really appreciate it, man. I seen those Van Damme green screen on. I know you go. No, I think they're funny to watch. I think they're entertaining. Like I said, I appreciate what Van Damme was doing. I did more credit to him than Seagal. So those are fun, though. I mean, but yeah, countdown from 3, 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And we have the Terraco logo, which, of course, great company back in the day who released Rambo 2, Rambo 3, Universal Soldier,
Total Recall.
Yeah. Sadly, they just spent too much money. Wasn't the thing like they gave one of them a jet or something like Stallone, or I think like they gave like Stallone or something a jet. They would have like the biggest of parties.
Holy
And
shit! Did
sadly,
they?
they just spent too much money.
Man, I mean,
And
you
then
think that like this would have set them up for like, you know, just well, it's funny. Like this movie made so much money. This was the highest grossing film of 1991, right?
Yeah.
To me, it's my personal favorite movie. I think it's the best movie of 1991 also. And all that money made, and they were bitching at Cameron about saving money because the budget was originally like 75 million or so. Then it ballooned up to like 80 million or 88 million, and then went up a little bit more. But they were like, cut this scene, cut that scene. And they were trying to get Arnold to convince Cameron to cut different scenes. And he's like, no, that's not happening. Like, and a lot of the scenes that they wanted cut were really good. And like, Arnold said, like, only a studio exec would want to cut these scenes. So, I mean, he kind of told them off, and he kind of, he had the stroke to do so. He's fucking Arnold at like, his peak. That's the star. Like, but yeah, they were trying to get him to like convince Cameron. Like, if anybody can convince him, it's you. And he was not budging. Thankfully, he did not budge. And they had such a great working relationship on screen, and then of course off screen they were friends, so he wasn't gonna like go behind his back and side with the studio. But yeah.
And you could tell the huge difference in budget between the future scenes in the first one and this one. There's definitely a lot more steel with all the model work back there.
Yeah.
And yeah, Brad Fidel's music is fantastic, just like in the first one. The use of models. And like I said, it's just a big deal to showcase all of this, and you can't get better than practicality. Can't get more real than real. It's interesting how this still works better than those later Terminator films where they try to have big set pieces, because you can't still replicate fire the way you can for real. The movement.
No, you can't. And I agree with Stan Winston that this film was, well, I think he said like it was a marriage. It was the perfect marriage of like effects and like practical visual, and then like practical, like the combination of the two, using them so much in tandem, way more than any other film had. And you got to give credit to Cameron too. I mean, all those like, machines and stuff, the tank type vehicles and stuff, he designed all that stuff from sketches, and like they put it all together, and it just works really well. They also used a lot more rear projection for the backgrounds, to put like the models up against instead of using like old school matte painting like they did in Alien. Go ahead though.
Well, before I do that, let me before this disappears, because YouTube always basically disappears. Thank you, Bobby, once again. Okay, I get what you mean, Bobby. Thank you for that. Not my cup of tea. My Little Pony ain't my cup of tea, but if it's your cup of tea, that's fine, for me. But thank you, Bobby. I appreciate it, man. Wipe the face as long as I'm wiping their ass. That's good enough for me. I was going to say, what happened to that older John Connor? I always wonder what happened to that actor. He always reminded me a bit of Daniel Bernhardt. He looked a little bit like Daniel Bernhardt. Like, I always wonder, like, what happened to that actor? I don't know if that actor was ever interviewed. I mean, he has the little speaking part, granted, but I always thought he had a good look for an older John Connor. Yeah, I thought he had like the right look. Which, of course, they had to do, because they said, okay, who looks like an older Edward Furlong? And he kind of fit the bill there.
Yeah. But this whole sequence here with all the fire and stuff, just epic. I mean, Brad Feidel's music, you mentioned that already. Fits so perfectly, establishes such a great tone going in. You know, it's going to be something special just out of the gate, just the way it starts. I mean, and now I'm not too familiar with like the original trailer from back in the day. I wonder like how audiences felt once they saw Robert Patrick pop up, and maybe even some people that just saw on the marquee, like they go to the movies and they want to see something good, and they're like, hey, T2's out, Terminator 2's out, like I like the first movie, and they probably expect Arnold maybe to even be the bad guy, so the surprise factor there probably had to be off the chart. Like they're like, holy shit, what's going on? So it's just something I always
when
thought
you
about.
mean you say you're not familiar with the first trailer, you mean you didn't see it, or you don't remember what it was? Or?
I've seen it. I just don't remember if they portray Robert Patrick as like, you know,
No,
the
the
mega
first
heel.
teaser is them building the cyborg. It's an
I do
assembly
remember that.
line, and then Arnold looking ahead, and that's all they show in that first teaser.
Right. Yeah.
So they're like, "Oh, he's back as the Terminator." So yeah, I'm sure the first thought is, "Oh, he's back as the Terminator is going to kill." But then the trailer afterward, they showcase. I mean, they literally say the one to protect, and they show Arnold.
Okay.
But maybe that's something they could have kept as a secret in the marketing, where, because it seems like within the film, there's that scene where you're almost like trying to think who's chasing John Connor. Is it one or the other, and who's going to kill him? Well, one's got a shotgun with roses, but I don't think that mystery really plays as well in the finished product, because it just seems like right from the get-go, like this Terminator is different from the original, because it's like he would have just punched a hole through their heads, not just throw them around and stuff. Plus, at this point, Arnold didn't want to be a bad guy unless it's campy like Batman and Robin. But this is the height of his career. He didn't want to be a bad guy at this point. Now, I like Terminator 2 quite a bit. My favorite is the first one. That's my favorite Terminator film. But I do like this one. But my favorite is the first one. I like the horror aspect more.
Oh yeah.
And
same.
I like Arnold as the good Terminator. I like him better as the evil Terminator, I will admit. I think it's also like one of those things, like it's a good film. I don't really have any issues with it. It's just people would not stop talking about it, that I kind of got tired of hearing about it. Where it's like, well, I like this film too. No, you got to talk about T2. Yeah, but I like this Arnold film more. No, but you got to talk about T2. Yeah, but I like Predator and I like The Running Man. Fuck that shit. You got to talk about T2. I'm like, fuck you and fuck T2. But not really. But so there was a part of me, oh, it's a bit overrated and stuff, but it's a very good film. Like I said, I have really no issues with it. And but it's just one of those things. There's other Arnold films I like more for a variety of reasons, but this is very well directed. Uh, the editing by Mark Goldblatt, who directed Did He with Tree Williams, and he directed The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. He edited Rambo 2. He edited Predator 2. He even has an interview where apparently James Cameron saw Predator 2 and liked it. At least that's what Mark Goldblatt says. And of course, that came out before this film. So,
I mean,
yeah, overhyped is a better word. Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, definitely. I could see the overhype thing. Definitely not overrated. I mean, just because, like,
yeah, overhyped is a better word.
Yeah, like putting aside my own personal taste and enjoying the film as a piece of entertainment, it's undeniable that this film like just set up so much like for filmmakers in the future. They were doing so many things that were brand new. Cameron trying so many different things, as well as ILM, which I'll talk about a lot about them later on. But Stan Winston coming back, Brad Fiedel, of course, putting some of his best music, in my opinion, in this. And you mentioned the editing as well. All those elements just come together perfectly, and any one of those things could have been off and would have been a flaw in the film, but to me it's pretty much flawless, and in the same way that the first movie is, in my opinion. Like, I think that both of those movies, that's why, like, somebody says like, hey, which one's your favorite? Younger me would have said T2, but older me, I'm more like, oh, Terminator 1. And at any given day I could say they're both, I just consider them both perfect movies.
Right.
Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with either one.
Right.
So even when I rank my top 5 Arnold movies, I always say Terminator 1 and 2. Like, they're together. They're so synonymous with each other. This is the perfect branching off of like evolving the story and the characters even, and not to mention the special effects, like I said, which I just gush over because I'm such a mark for Stan Winston stuff. And dude, ILM, I mean, the stuff they do in this is incredible. Just the way like technology was so limited back then. Like, I remember them talking about different shots that like they would compose, and like how it took 8 weeks for like 5 seconds of like any given shot. And that's a long time. And the effects drove the production of the movie as well. Like, a lot of it was harboring on like what they could get completed in a certain amount of time. But and Cameron always says, like, people label me as a perfectionist, but I'm a rightist. If it's not right, then I don't want it in the movie. And I wish way more filmmakers would go off of that mantra. That's why I see a lot of bad like effects, CGI stuff now. Like, it's just, this movie's 1991. You see stuff that comes out now, and it's just like, that's a rush job. Like, that's not right. Like, do it right, do it correctly. Now, I do know like there's a lot of studio politics, and you got to work within a budget and all that stuff. But man, like, wouldn't you like still push for that stuff to be right, especially if like it's a film that requires those type of effects? I don't know about you, but like that would be the main thing that I would focus on if I'm shooting a very effects heavy film. But you got to give them credit, man. I mean, there's so much attention to detail in everything, effects, and the characters, the story, like I already mentioned. I know I'm babbling, but go ahead if you got anything.
No, I mean, there's Jeanette Goldstein back there, Vasquez from Aliens as the stepmom. Yeah, Jeanette Goldstein. Well, there she is right there. And the other guy, he was, I remember he was in Candyman. He was the one that screwed over his wife and his just desserts at the very end.
Yep.
He's been in a lot of other stuff too. I forget his name, but yeah, he was in Candyman. Screwed over Virginia Madsen, turned on her. The ditch. But she gets his ass at the end.
She does.
And there's Edward Furlong before he went into drugs. It seems like he's cleaned up now. But
yeah,
Yeah, after this, he did Pet Sematary 2 and a few other films. And then, did you ever hear that story about him in Terminator 3?
Yes, I did. I watched the
Okay.
podcast that he did.
Michael Rosenbaum?
Yep, that was really good.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
Xander Berkeley. That's the guy from Candyman. Yeah, the stepdad.
I was just about
But
to.
for those who don't know the story, he was hired to do Terminator 3. And the clause was, though, he had to stay clean. So he's like, wow, I got a promise of a paycheck. He went out, he did too much drugs, he passed out, and then by the time he woke up, he lost that dig. So that's what you did. I mean,
yeah, that was his way of celebrating, and turned out for the worse.
oh yeah.
And you know, it's, I hate to say it, but maybe it's probably a good thing that he didn't get the movie. I mean, if that was his celebration, imagine like what he would have done with his money after he got, paid. It might have went
Yeah.
all up his nose. And and I hate to say that, but that's probably the case.
Well, I think he admitted that. He admitted that it was probably for the better that didn't happen because he would have had a bigger paycheck. And like you said, I think he OD'd that night when he partied.
Yeah, he did.
That's why he was knocked out. So yeah, it probably did work out for the better. And I don't think he would have done a good job, to be perfectly honest, with the way he was like. At that time, he seemed a bit more bloated. He seemed a bit more just not as good of an actor. And here we have our doctor from the first one, and he made a cameo in the third one. Was he in another one after that?
I don't think so.
This doctor did? Okay. Now, of course, Robert Patrick would later be in films like Fire in the Sky. He was in this video game I played called The Dig, a computer game that Steven Spielberg produced. He was the lead voice of it. That was an interesting one. X-Files, of course, as Agent Doggett. Yep. Done a lot of stuff throughout the years.
Yeah, so many great roles after the fact. Like you were mentioning, X-Files, one of my personal favorites. Also love him in Copland. I think he's fantastic in that.
I liked him in ICU as well. Also with Stallone. He was good in that.
Yeah, that was really good. Also like how he plays the character as well. I mean, he puts so much into like minimalist like movements and stuff like that. I mean, it's a very like controlled performance. Like even later on you see him only like when he runs, he never breathes out of his mouth, only out of his nostrils. Every like motion that he does is very calculated, and the way he looks at the world, like it's like he's taking everything in and examining everything, but all to like just further his mission of taking out John.
Oh, they do too many movies. Yeah, Robert Patrick's done a lot of great stuff throughout the years. Very good, solid actor. Even in shit films like The Marine.
He's one of the better parts of that movie, though, I think.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So that's saying much. And of course, you know what year this came out. Got the mullet guy there.
Yep.
Mini Billy Ray Cyrus.
One thing I always thought about like was, so later on in the film, her plan, Sarah's plan is to kill Miles because he's one of the people that's like most responsible for what's going to happen and bringing about Judgment Day and Cyberdyne or Skynet stuff going active and all that stuff. Wouldn't like it have been a little bit better if, I mean, I guess it would have been murder, but he's hardly innocent, even though it's it's almost an accident. He doesn't mean to start like Judgment Day or anything, but them reprogramming Arnold to send him back and take out Miles instead of like going through the hassle of the, facing the T-1000 and all that stuff. It's kind of tricky. I mean, you can sort of like drive yourself crazy when you think about it, just because there is a time travel element to the film. It's like, what if they went back and did this, and maybe this would have prevented that, instead of like having this whole scenario. Of course, we wouldn't have got the entertaining film that we did get, but just something to think about.
Well, the whole thing is a paradox. I mean, how is it you could go back and impregnate, so you could be the guy that sends the guy back when you weren't born in the first place?
Yeah.
It's all paradox.
Yeah.
You just can't think about it, make your head explode.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, well, how did the war go about the first time? There was not a John Connor. You had to wait for this guy to be sent back and breed the lady to make a John Connor, to then have a John Connor. So what happened the first time through? So you have to just not think about it.
Right.
Of course, this is, in reference to the Michael Biehn scene in part 1, where he's also videotaped and he's also going crazy about the war. And Linda Hamilton got buff as hell in this.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're married to James Cameron, you pretty much have to do that with how he is. Beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, I love watching the training videos, like when they're learning to shoot all the weapons and stuff, and just seeing them, like, their workout regimen. And I mean, even Furlong did a little bit of working out, although it's hardly to the degree of like somebody like Linda Hamilton, but I mean, he does have quite a bit of running scenes and stuff like that. So like, they put him through a few things. And I mean, he was not an actor. We didn't mention that. Like he was very much just a kid off the street. Like I think they found him on the streets of Pasadena or something, and thought that he had like a certain look that might lend itself to being like somewhat of a streetwise kid, also while being sympathetic and somebody that's in need of protection from a greater force. And they got him the acting coach, and rest is history.
God, look at those old, it's just the way of the time, those old ass video cameras and TVs. Look at that computer with a blue screen.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that's what our computers were like, folks. Right. Either green or blue screens, and that's it.
Yeah. And even
those old TVs, this thing called flicker.
Yeah. It's a rear projection. Yeah. Some of those older like computers though, like that. Oh, well, here we go. Here's some right here. They're working off of hard drives that are max out only in megabytes, and
why is there a dinosaur there? I just noticed. Why is there a dinosaur there?
I've always wondered, like, why that's there.
They're working on the effects for Jurassic Park. Comes out after this.
Yeah, right. It is the same team.
Hey, Pepsi, you got Pepsi over there. Yeah, some product placement. You got Pepsi. The Peppus. The Peepus. But was George Bourne, who later would be in the film Speed? Among many films, he was in Paycheck with Ben Affleck.
He's also in X-Files.
Oh yeah, he was in one episode of that. As someone was asking, yeah, I did watch X-Files when Robert Patrick was on. Yes, I did. Season 8 and some of season 9. But I did watch. I did like Robert Patrick in that role. And yeah, Joe Morton, I think he was also in Justice League as Cyborg's dad. Sadly, he was in that movie.
And we also covered that as well. Both films, or not, well, both films and the series of X-Files on the Dip Hit channel.
Dip Hit.
Yeah.
Yep. With Uncle Bill, we talked about all the seasons of X-Files on there. And I do like the film. It just, for me, it would not be in my top 5 Arnold films, but I do like it.
This movie or which movie?
This movie.
Okay.
I like it, but it wouldn't be in my top 5 Arnold films. Linda Hamilton's sister played the Sarah Connor double. Well, it makes sense if they have the similar build and
yeah, that
you do the hair similar.
well, they didn't have to do too much because they're twins. It's Leslie.
Okay, yeah. I didn't
Leslie
know it was
Hamilton.
twins.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I mean,
funny.
my top 5, like TSP my top 5 Arnold would be Predator, The Running Man, Commando, End of Days, and Total Recall. Is my personal top 5 favorite Arnold films.
It's a good list.
You'll fuck a choir boy compared to be a choir boy. I saw in the theater. I got a kick out of that. It's just a fresh room. Stop being a pussy. Hey, any film that he takes the devil and just shoots him in the face with a grenade launcher, I'm down for.
Yeah,
There's
I
a
like
devil,
End of
shoot
Days
with a
quite a
grenade
bit.
launcher in the face.
Yeah.
I'm done. I think what it is, like, I like the film. It's just that I'm so partial to Arnold as the Terminator that when I think of Terminator, I miss that viciousness and that violence.
Mm-hmm.
That while this is R-rated, it just felt tamer to me. Now there are violent bits. There's a bit where she stabs through Xander Berkeley with the sword thing, but it just felt a bit tamer because understandably he's a good guy, so he's got to shoot people in the kneecaps and he can't kill, and he's a Terminator who can't terminate people, which I get because he's the good guy. But it just it's R-rated, but I felt this was kind of like a soft R rating compared to the first Terminator, which I'm thinking like it's much more like brooding horror vibe, and it just felt like it got a bit more, a bit slicker, bigger budget. Just it works for what it needs to be. It just felt a bit tamer compared to even those films I mentioned, like Total Recall, where he's taking a guy and the guy just shot 85 times and it's a meat puppet by the end.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
On the escalator.
Yeah.
So like that's the Arnold I'd gravitate a bit more towards probably. But I say that, and this is a very good film. I have nothing against the movie. It's just there's others I like more. And then I would say that, and then people are like, "What the fuck? You did that?" I'm not saying it's a bad movie, folks. Like, remember with their arcades? Once in a while you can find arcade, but much more rare nowadays. Back then, though, this is what Afterburner, I believe, and I miss those arcades though.
There's a few
and yet
around
Guns N'
me.
Roses, you'll be mine. Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
Now, is it more just they have just the guns and stuff, or do they have actual like beat 'em up arcade games and stuff there?
There's a good variety. There's a good variety of stuff.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That seems rare though. I mean, I guess just most people play at home, so they don't really pay for it. But I like the atmosphere. I just never got a chance because the closest was like 30, 40 miles away.
Wow.
Because I lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere in Iowa, and that's the closest you would get to actual good groceries to get. Because everything else, like here's a gas station or something. And here you get that. Well, who's going to kill him? This guy or this guy?
Right.
But at this point, we've seen that Robert Patrick has killed. He killed that cop, so we already know he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
He killed someone.
But still, like the scene somewhat implies that like he's gonna kill him. So at least for like a few seconds, and then you're like, oh wait.
First place, I always thought this guy was Ted Raimi, but it's not. It's not though.
It should have been. That would have been awesome. And there's some really great practical effect work right there on Robert Patrick's chest. That shirt is essentially one giant piece of rubber, even though it may not look like it, but the shirt is rubber. And these are like exploding like flower pieces that sprawl out. I think they're spring loaded and they just pop open for like the bullet effect. Of course, that's a CGI insert shot right there. With the anytime the bullets close, it's CGI, but when he gets hit, it's all practical. I love that look right there. Very brief, but I remember the direction on the making of from Cameron, and um, you get that one bit of like tiny second of confusion from Arnold where he's like, "Hey, I can't overpower this guy," but Cameron told him it's like you're gonna have that look because Terminators have never fought each other before. It's never happened. This is the first time, so you need to have a brief second of what the hell? Like I can't just throw this guy around.
But at the same time, if they're that smart, wouldn't they know that to begin with? That Terminator would be different fighting than a human.
Yeah. But I think when he was directing that scene, he mentioned that like at this point you don't know that this is another Terminator because if you remember, like only thing he knows is that he's just supposed to be his protector in this time, not
Well,
from
yeah.
what specifically. So to him, at first glance, he's like, "Well, wait, this guy's dressed like a cop. I can't, I can't just throw him around." But
But at the
again,
same time, he
that's
knows
very
all
brief.
about what a T-1000 is because he explains what a T-1000 is later.
Yeah, but I'm
So
just
he
saying,
knows
like,
what T-1000 is.
yeah, yeah.
So that's my point. If he knows what a T-1000 is, then he knows what it's capable of. Then he should know that he should be as powerful as me. If he knows all the aspects of the T-1000 and liquid metal, what it can do, then I don't see why I should be surprised that it's that strong.
Mm-hmm.
If it knows all the other aspects of a T-1000.
True, that's true.
This is one of my favorite pieces of score by Brad Fiedel. He knocked out of the park with this.
Yeah.
Which was used some bits in the trailer to Universal Soldier. That was used in a couple trailers throughout the 90s.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it leads me to believe that, like, you know, because Cameron did say that, I guess, like, there were no, like, machine wars. Like, you didn't have them opposing each other in the future. They all just worked under what they were programmed to do. You know, everything's just through Skynet. Which I had thought about a couple of times. Like, was there any, like, war of machines, like, against each other, reprogrammed? But I guess in that moment, it's just the first time it happened, so they did that. But yeah, very quick little tidbit there. Just wanted to bring that up, but I do see your point with that. And that was, of course, very well done, practical jump off the bridge right there.
Mm-hmm. I know Silver Wings had mentioned the type of shotgun that Arnold has, and it's one of the things you gotta make sure to have that little loop because I think he mentioned at one point Arnold almost broke his finger trying to do the flip thing.
He tore his skin off on his fingers before like he actually got it down. I think he said he had to
Okay.
wear a glove like after a while to keep practicing it to get it right. And then, you know,
Winchester 1887. There you
go. Okay. Like putting it away while he's on the bike as well was difficult because like he
Yeah.
has to look a certain way and he can't break the shot and he's got to look cool at the same time, make it look like, you know, he knows what he's doing.
Do you think it's better to do it that way or to do it kind of like up and down? Like, you know, how some people like the reload, they go up and down, like,
Mm-hmm.
or do you think it's better to do it in a circle? I mean, I guess he's a Terminator, so it wouldn't really matter because it's supposed to be a robot, so it wouldn't matter which, I guess. I guess because it
Right.
looks cooler too.
That's what I was gonna say. That was a piece of direction he gave him for that when he handled the weapon. Like, it should look cool.
Yeah. 3 shotguns, 2 that could fire, 1 with the big loop, 1 without, and a rubber one to throw around.
Yeah, I remember them talking about all the guns and in total what you see on screen. Of course, they don't use every single one, but there's at least about 200 different weapons, which is far exceeds the amount from the first movie. That's wonderful. Just beautiful.
Then they try to do that re-release where they add in the CGI Arnold face during the scene to hide the double.
Yeah, I remember vividly because I've seen the VHS 10 million times over. You could always tell that was Arnold's stunt double. And here's ILM at work right here with this shot.
Mm-hmm.
Just amazing stuff, like trying something so new right here. Using the texture mapping and all that stuff. And it's funny, like nowadays you have a big emphasis on like ray tracing and path tracing and all that stuff. And that was never a thing, like in at least in video games. Like it's a much bigger thing now in video games than it was ever before. And it only enhances. I mean, that's why you need so many like these higher end like graphics cards, and just to pull it off, um like the whole Nvidia brand, them doing the RTX series, like, and that was like the whole next leap was like the ray tracing and path tracing. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's like when um they have global illumination over like a digital image, so it reflects everything. But back then, that wasn't really a thing. So they were sort of just creating all of that for like on screen effects. So all of the reflection of the fire, they have to go in and add all that in individually. And the shadows have to reflect correctly and accurately off of Robert Patrick's body, or I guess lack thereof in the scene, because it is just him in a suit, but still, like, everything had to line up just right. So you could imagine the meticulous uh, time that like they took just doing all those like little eccentricities that make it such a great scene. Um and even in the future, like, or later in the film, I mean. It was in its infancy stage. Punk 100, um they were trying a lot of different stuff in that one, in the Abyss, and they sort of got their confidence with that. But like path tracing came into play a lot more in this.
You know, it's weird looking back in a weird way. This is kind of the beginning of the end for Arnold, because other than maybe True Lies and kind of Eraser,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much all of Arnold's films after this would be flops. Because he had Last Action Hero, which is a good one, but it didn't do well. Then he came back a bit with True Lies and Eraser. But then you had Batman and Robin, you had End of Days, you had Junior, you had, well, that was before, but you had End of Days, you had Sixth Day, you had Collateral Damage, even Terminator 3. They weren't really big hits or anything. They went into politics, and that didn't work. Then came back for The Last Stand, which was a good one, but that did nothing. That bombed badly. And then Killing Gunther, like all this other stuff. It just, like I said, other than True Lies and maybe Eraser did okay.
Yeah,
Kind of the
did
last hurrah for Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
It's I think this was, I could be wrong, but I I think this was the only movie he like that was nominated like for anything. Not that that really matters that much, I know, to like hardcore movie fans, but
Well, I'm sure like special
that,
effects and stuff, of course, yeah.
yeah, I still thought he should have got it for direction. I mean, when you look at some of the nominees for that year, it's like you know,
What
I
were the
like Ridley.
nominees?
I like Ridley Scott, but Thelma and Louise, come on. Come on. Best direction for Thelma and Louise. Come on. Over Terminator 2. That's ridiculous.
That's the Oscars. What do you expect?
Yeah, I know, but like I think Demi won it for Silence of the Lambs, but still.
Oh, Jonathan Demme, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that, but like just Ridley Scott being nominated for that. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Arnold. Like a lot of those films that I mentioned, I do enjoy. Like I enjoy Eraser, I enjoy True Lies, of course, and even after I think Collateral Damage is fun.
Mm-hmm.
6 Days okay. I love End of Days. I saw in the theater. It was a great experience. I like The Last Stand quite a bit. And I'm talking about the films he starred in. I don't mean like films like The Expendables. I mean like the films he starred in. And The Last Stand was the last good film he starred in. That was 2013 or so, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Afterward, it's like, who gives a shit about Terminator Genesis, Terminator Dark Fate, killing Gunther? Give me a fucking break. State Plan.
Yeah, yeah. They did a great job, by the way, on those recreating the 1984 Terminator in those black and white photo stills.
Okay, I thought that cup said Subway. I don't know why. I thought about it like, is that cup from Subway? Yeah, I never. I think we mentioned this before. I never got to participate in the Terminator 2 ride, Battle Across Time. You do find it on YouTube, of course. Yeah, I forgot about Sabotage, but thanks for reminding me, Chess. I forgot about Sabotage for a reason. Great
Yeah,
dialogue. Who dusted ass here? Who
unfortunately,
dusted ass?
that script was sabotaged. Might have actually been
Okay,
a
did you
better
see
movie.
that film?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it does say Subway. Okay. Hey, another product placement. I mean, Demolition Man at Taco Bell. You know, it's not blade in your face. It's not like that Uncharted movie where there was a fucking fight in like a Papa John's, or whatever the hell the fucking fights it was. Mark Wahlberg had with someone like in the middle of a fucking restaurant, like Papa John's type of thing. Some are more blatant than others. Yeah, Jared will love this movie. We'll love Edward Furlong. Jared from Subway. If you know, you know. I'll put it that way.
Jared's doing hard
Can you
time
believe
right
that guy?
now.
Like, you remember those commercials, and then like if you look back, you go, "Wow, that's who that guy was." Jared from Subway.
Yeah.
No wonder you. I guess the secret of losing weight is the secret you don't want. You go to jail for those secrets.
It's not a mission priority. Yeah, I like it. Now that was sort of playing into every kid's dream, at least, you know, when you see this movie, like you can control the Terminator as a kid. That's awesome. I remember thinking that as a kid, like, oh man, that's the coolest thing ever.
I think that was also another thing that was like, okay, it's a good film, but okay, it's a bit tamer than the first one. It's like, okay, he's gonna make the Terminator stand on one leg.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking, I get why it's there, but I'm like, oh great, really? Don't stand on one leg? What the fuck
What
is
about
this? You know?
the smiling scene that's in the special edition?
I'm glad they took that out of special edition. That was cringe.
Yeah.
This guy is going to his audition for Final Fight the movie. Going to try to fight Hagar and
It's got
Metro City 1.
the Roddy Piper mullet. That should have been Piper in that scene. That would have been awesome. That could have been Wesley
Oh, you see a
Snipes.
cop? You go shoot a black guy.
Yep.
He's a police officer. He don't shoot the black guy. Watch out.
But yeah, I remember my uncle talking about a friend of his, like they went to go see T2 right when it came out. And my uncle loved the movie, but his friend hated it. And it's because of the
Really?
stuff that you're saying right now, that it was so much more tame compared to the first one. Because he was like the first movie was like his favorite movie, like
Right.
out of like anything, not just action. Like that was his favorite movie, was the first Terminator. So when he saw T2, like his expectancy was obviously through the roof, and then we get the film and like he hated it. And I was like, really? Like even looking past that, like it's still like, what about the story or the characters or
Yeah, there's a
anything?
lot of good stuff to it.
Yeah, but he didn't get into it. And I never really meet anybody or have ever talked to anybody that doesn't like T2. So it was very surprising.
So is your uncle's friend?
Yeah, my uncle's friend, yeah.
Wonder if he like maybe has he changed his mind? I wonder.
I'd love to ask him, like, because that was like back when, it came out. So that was a long time
Wonder
ago.
if these are the other Terminator films.
Oh man. I could only imagine.
That'd be funny if he hated T2, but he liked Darth Fate for some reason.
Oh my god.
There's always like the weird bit here.
Yeah, I don't really understand that scene. Like, and I could get him doing other things and taking advantage of her because she's strapped in, but just doing that, it's like, what did he gain from doing that?
Well, I mean,
Well, I guess maybe
obviously, it's
that's his kink though. Maybe that's what he likes to do to different people locked up in there. He likes to lick.
sucking her toes in. If Tarantino directed this, it'd be that. Be licking the toes instead.
Yeah. The old paperclip escape.
Yeah, he's a pervert. Well, I'm sure. I mean, it's of course because it's even though it's rated R, this is more mainstream, so they're not going to be too egregious with what kind of pervert he is.
Mm-hmm.
What's like the safest way to show he's a pervert in a way? Lick your cheek. Even the ladies have mullets back in the 90s.
That's one haircut I just never really understood, like why that was so popular.
Some pull off well. I think Van Damme and Hard Target, Kurt Russell and Big Trouble in China,
Mm-hmm.
Stallone and Rambo 2 and 3. I think some people pull it off well.
I don't know about women
Not
though.
everybody pulls it off well.
I don't know about women though. Like it.
No, I mean, I agree with that. Women, maybe mullet's not the best for women. Like, have be more like Linda's haircut.
Yeah.
Or now, of course, this guy who's going to get killed, they're twins. They would also be in Gremlins 2,
Mm-hmm.
working with Christopher Lee's character. I'm sure they've worked in other stuff, but I remember him from this and Gremlins 2.
And this is a great scene here.
Oh yeah, I mean, it coming out of the floor still looks very photorealistic. It's still
Mm-hmm.
crazy, even from back to the day.
Yeah. And then we get the spring loaded pointer finger,
Mm-hmm.
which they actually shoot through a live cast version of him, of this security guard.
Yeah. Zonk.
Right. That looks amazing. Rest in peace, Stan Winston, man.
Yes, of course. Rest in peace to him. It is a bit weird that he decides not to talk because we know he can mimic voices. I know it's not needed, but you would think you'd be a bit more suspicious if he doesn't talk than if he did talk. I guess they just made that a choice. But yeah, I just think you would think you'd be a bit more suspicious. Like when he's talking and looking for John Connor, he's a bit more like he's trying to smile and blend in, but less so here. So I didn't really,
Right.
wonder what the deal with that is.
Maybe that was
He thinks it's
too.
normal for mops to be broken. He's that. He's like, yeah, of course, there's a mop here broken in half. There ain't nothing to it. I'm just gonna close his door.
That's in every
Mop's always
closet.
broken in half.
That's every closet has that. That's normal.
Every closet has mops broken in half. How would I rank T2 in Cameron's filmography? I mean, it's a good one. I mean, my favorite is Aliens. I would say Aliens, True Lies, The Abyss, The Terminator, and Terminator 2.
Yeah, I
For
mean
me,
you only really have those 5 to choose from.
I mean that would be my ranking.
I know, but like, I mean, we're not gonna count those other movies. Let's be honest. Um, man, let me see if I had to rank them. Um, yeah, I'd probably say Terminator. See, I always count 1 and 2 as like the same, but just for the sake of like doing a full on 5 count, I'd say 1 Aliens, 2 um True Lies, then The Abyss.
Good sound design on the breaking the bones there. Definitely make you really feel, especially when she got his wrist and stuff. And good sound design.
Yeah, them going back and like spending so much time on the sound was key. Like all of the gunshots, every sound effect in it. I mean, all the ADR stuff and the looping, and it was all perfect.
And you see they're bringing a little bit more humor into the franchise, which is fine. But then by the time they got to part 3, they went overboard with the strippers and the top to the hand and all
Horrible.
that shit.
I can't stand it.
Here it's manageable. Here it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the type of humor I like is still in the first one. Fuck you, asshole. That's still my favorite. And the get
Yeah,
out when he's all fucked up and the guy jumps off out of the semi, out of the truck.
I love that too. He'll live. Very subtle, not over the top, just right.
Right.
Probably got a chuckle out of the audience, keep the scene rolling right to the next bit of action.
Yeah.
And great use of like a very minor character from the first movie to bring him back and have him be like sort of the crux of this whole sequence of her escape.
Liquid Rooter's not a real brand. Does look like the Liquid Drano brands wanted to have their product placement here. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, it would actually. I mean, you're not supposed to inject it to people because it would kill you. So it's like if they don't know by now, I don't know if a movie's going to tell them any different. So I'd be like, yeah, of course. It's meant to kill people. Well, no, you're not supposed to fucking drink it. It's like, none of the Drano was supposed to drink it. That'd be a very stupid reason for a company to say no.
Yeah.
Wasn't there some rumor that that girl, and we see her later, the cop, the Orly, someone tried to link her to the cop in Die Hard, who's like trying to talk, and is like, when Bruce Willis is like, "No shit, lady, what do you think I'm ordering a pizza?" I remember some rumor they thought like those two would be like the same character or something. I don't know. It was like this weird rumor thing.
I've never heard that. That's interesting.
It was like a long time ago. It was like the girl that smacks Arnold in the face and braces glasses coming up. That she was the same as the girl that talked to Bruce Willis. He's like, "No shit, like, what do you think I'm ordering a pizza?" But it's the idea. It's, you know, that's how internet goes.
Mm-hmm.
Just make up whatever.
Yeah. And a natural reaction for her character right here.
Yeah, of course, makes sense.
Probably brought back so many feelings of like terror and trauma and
Oof.
all this was very well choreographed.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many other bits in the film. I mean, even the part where you have the semi hitting the cars. I remember watching them on the ground. They looked like little kids. They were playing with like toy cars and stuff, like showing how like what vehicle would hit what. But I mean, this was some of the funnest stuff for them to do. I do remember that. Well, but anytime you're during the action scenes, that's always the funnest stuff to do.
Yeah. Well, they probably didn't have John step out of the elevator first in case the T-1000 was already there. Arnold wanted to make sure it was safe before he came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see why they would do that.
Yeah, and especially since like they anticipated that well, Arnold said that like he would have anticipated them coming there. It was almost like a setup in a way.
Yeah.
And also probably so that he could assimilate and become her later, which he does do. So I would imagine that the T-1000 at least has to have you in his sights, sort of scan you, get an outline of your profile, and then he can become you later on.
Mm.
Because he does do that when they're in the factory at the end. That looks
Yeah,
looks good.
that.
It's a great scene.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic. That scene later on, I don't have to remember that scene. If you think about it, doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Which
it's
one?
Okay. The scene at the end when he mimics Linda Hamilton, it like makes no sense when you think about it.
Oh, you mean when he's like trying to trick John?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, call to John. Why? You can call to John. You can do voices. You could just kill her like you did that guard, throw her off the rail. She would melt. You pretend to be her with her voice.
Mm-hmm.
He almost came to you. It's just he knows there were two of them. Boom, stab him, end of movie. Why do you need to call him? You can call him yourself. You could do her voice like you did Jeanette Goldstein's voice.
Yeah.
So why does he need to warn her to call to John? And just stab her right through the head and do it himself.
Yeah, that's one of those scenes that sort of plays so that like only milks tension of her, the fear of her being
Yeah,
killed, and just
but
to
it
set
doesn't
up,
make any sense. But I get why for
yeah,
the tension scene, but it makes no sense whatsoever.
and to set up the attack from like Arnold, where he stabs him from behind with the that long spear type thing, that metal piece.
And like I said, John Connor looks at both of them and he's ready to go towards her, very close, and it's only he notices two of them. So it's not that some of he notices the shoes or anything. No, he just don't nose right towards her.
Hmm.
But this is yeah. Again, the editing, Mark Goldblatt, give huge credit to him. He edited a lot of action films around this time. And again, it really keeps the pacing, the drive, and Brad Fidel's score just again top notch once again.
Oh yeah, it's
Back to the
just
day when movies were worth a shit.
yeah. I mean, this whole sequence just driving backwards while she's shooting out, then do
Yeah,
the 360 spin. He latches on. Just like it didn't seem like the scene was going to end. You almost didn't want it to end because it was just so
right.
fun.
And they try to do these scenes in Genesis and Dark Fate, and it just falls so fucking flat.
It feels like a parody every time.
Why do you think that is?
Well, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like he, Cameron wrote the movie to be a continuation, and all of the creativity that he does put into the movie, obviously it's all on screen, but it didn't come from a place of copying anything that he saw before. It was all new stuff. The effects team got the script and they were like, how the fuck are we going to make any of this work? We've never done any of this stuff before. We don't know how to make it work. But Cameron's mantra is like, we'll make it work. And that's part of being a pioneer. Like, and this film set up so many other future movies to use CGI a certain way, also with blending and practical effects as well. It revolutionized the action, or the sci-fi action film, I should say. And so many other movies tried to copy a lot of the different things in this. And most notably, the sequels, they look back to the past of what made those movies great, and then they look at one or two things and they're like, well, that's what made it great, or that's what made it great. And that's not really what it was. It was just him at probably his creative peak. And I don't think they came to those conclusions when making those films. It was like, they're like, well, we have to homage and we have to do this way because that's the way Cameron did it. And it's like, no, just do your own thing. But you have to be involved in every piece of it. Like I think that's part of what makes these movies work so well. Even when we were talking about Aliens before, like seeing the guy like legitimately in the trenches, like laying on the ground, acting the scenes out, showing him like the actors like, this is how I want it to go. Um, Making well, what he could make as far as effects go, and then sort of like setting up the blueprint of what he wanted, and just so many facets like that. Seeing him in the like the sidecar on the motorcycle, holding the camera, like trying to get the shot. Like, this is how I want it. I want it this way, and I want this way, and everything has to be a certain way because that's all a part of the creative vision that he had for the film. I don't think a lot of directors of today have that. At least the guys for sure doing the sequels. I like Jonathan Mostow enough. I love Breakdown, but what they did for Terminator 3, that wasn't it. Um, Miller for Dark Fate, that definitely wasn't it. That was just everything about that movie's wrong. like like from start to finish, it's just wrong. And I talked about that before. Like, it's just blasphemy. You open the film by killing John Connor. That's ridiculous. And then replacing him with a character that is completely and utterly inferior and inept in every way possible, up, down, left, and right. And just
Mm-hmm.
very generic and bland. And like the idea that the hero or the resistance leader can just be anyone. That's stupid. No, That's not that's not right. That doesn't make it special anymore if it can just be anyone.
No, I absolutely agree. Yeah, John the Mazda. I also enjoyed Breakdown. Great thriller per Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Genesis was dog shit. Dark Fate was dog shit.
Yeah, like I it's funny, like Salvation's like the only one that like I think is even halfway watchable, and they had some interesting ideas. And nothing about that movie felt like it was trying to copy Terminator 1 or 2, while the other movies did, where it's like, let's put a Terminator in a vehicle and have them chase the hero character. That wasn't in Salvation at all. It was the future. Um, the war had already happened, and we're sort of like living through everything that's going on. It's a very ambitious idea, and I think one of the better logical sequels in that regard. Also, the character where he doesn't know he's a Terminator, that was kind of interesting. So
Mhm.
yeah, that one bothers me the least out of all the sequels.
Right. And the special edition, I think that was the scene where you had her think of destroying the chip and Ever Furlong stopping her, which I don't think I don't think you needed because you know she wasn't going to do it. You know Arnold was still going to be in the rest of the movie.
Hmm.
I I think we got enough of the tension already throughout with between John and Sarah Connor, so it didn't really add anything. So
Hmm.
like they said, the special edition, I much prefer theatrical. Like Aliens, I usually only watch special edition. This, if I don't rewatch this a lot, I mean, this I probably haven't seen this in maybe a decade at least. But
Hmm.
if I ever do rewatch it, it's just to be the theatrical. There's really no scenes in the special edition that I thought was like it was interesting to see Michael Bean.
Yeah, that's one scene I do like. Um,
Yeah,
there's one or two other scenes of like extra story, but it's like it doesn't. If you don't see that, theatrical, it's not like it completely takes anything away from what they're trying to accomplish here.
right. Here's your rap burger. Oh no, that's Demolition Man. Oh, did I do a commentary last year? I don't even remember that. See, there you go. That's how little I remember shit. I don't even remember doing a commentary on it. That's
On this,
strange. I guess that's what Predminator says. I don't even remember. I guess I did do it. Oh, okay, yeah, it was a request from Sean.
okay.
Theatrical, I forgot. Shows how little I remember. I do so many videos, folks. It's just hard to remember it all. My brain is going.
Now, did you see something? He just mentioned Dyson, so that made me think. Did you ever see anything where um, Dyson was going to be played by Denzel? I don't know how true
No,
that
I didn't
is.
know about that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how true that is, but I do remember seeing that somewhere that like he was supposed to play the role. Um, and it was actually a bigger part, but significantly cut down by the time we get to the final draft, or at least the shooting script.
Hmm. Yeah, I probably did do a commentary for this last year, folks. Sorry, I forgot. I mean, I do like 1,000 videos a month, so it's hard to remember them all. No, I've never heard the Denzel thing. I've never heard that before. Never.
This is all really good exposition here, where you're learning a lot, like about how everything sort of gets kickstarted and how Russia had their counterattack ready. Um, and it doesn't feel like he's preaching to the audience, which is great. Like he's filling in her character accordingly, and that also plays into her assassination attempt in the next scene.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's just that's what I like a lot about this. Like so many scenes feed into the next one, and there's always reasoning for a lot of things. There's not a lot of wasted time in the movie. Um, if you could complain about anything, I guess it would have been like the attempts at humor, but they don't at least fail miserably like some other films do when they try to put stuff like that in.
Right.
This guy's just waiting with the shotgun on his shoulder.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not seeing a lot of folks. Again, like I like the film. It just was never an all-time favorite of mine. I don't know why. It's hard. Just one of those things. Just one of those films. Like I liked it. I've seen it a few times, and that's it.
Hey, Big John. Sorry, I'm neglecting the chat. Yeah, Silver Wings. Google that, and you'll probably see an article or two on that on Denzel.
Hmm. Let me look that up a bit too. Just like I said, I never heard about that either.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
Here's their little private armory here in the ground. All the tools to make you a badass, just like Hudson.
So yeah, I don't know what magazine this was. Oh, Premiere Magazine in 1992, while doing Malcolm X, he talked about it. No offense to Jim Cameron, but when I read the script, I thought all he does is look scared and sweat. I had to pass. I don't know if I have room to embarrass myself for people to our work. A script comes to you, you make a decision on it.
Well, there you go.
All he does is look scared and sweat.
I
Okay,
wouldn't say
everyone's ready for
that,
it.
like, but okay. I mean, he does blow up a fucking building. I mean, come on.
He did sweat during it, and he
Well, I
was
mean,
scared.
yeah, but if you're gonna blow up a building, I'd shit myself. Like,
He did sweat. He did get scared, so that's technically true.
yeah, but yeah, I mean,
Oh, thank you, Hopium. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was
You
just
go
gonna
ahead
say,
first.
like, it's it's a good character, but I could see like for him, he's like, well, there's not enough meat on the bone, kind of thing. Like, it's there, it
Right.
might be important to the script, and I mean, yeah, those words are so dismissive of the character because I like the character, and I wish
Yeah.
he was on screen more. Um, I don't know what version of the script he got because like I remember seeing that like the Dyson character was going to be given, maybe like if he had signed on it was going to be a bigger role. I don't know, although he wasn't really like the Denzel of, you know, late that he would become later. So I don't know,
Right.
it's interesting.
So thank you, Hopium. I appreciate it, Hopium. Apparently, Robert Patrick ran so fast he actually did catch up to the dirt bike. Fun fact.
Nice.
Wow.
I could believe it. I remember watching the videos of him training and running like crazy. He was in insane shape back then. Wasn't super muscular or anything, but appropriately fit, which is what Cameron was looking for to sort of oppose the hulking brute that is Arnold.
Before Arnold fucked up his life with fucking the maid in the ass. Not even in the ass, just had a kid with the maid.
I was gonna say, like, didn't he have a kid? I don't know if that's how that works.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a kid with her. The penetrative. More like it. Yeah, he ran so fast. He went from this movie to Wayne's World 1, where he did cameo with Robert
That's
Patrick.
right. That's right.
Have you seen this boy?
He finds no humor in that joke. Her little monologue here is kind of cool too. It's like that is sort of the only father figure. I mean,
Yeah.
they're working on a car together. They're
Where'd she
looking
get those sunglasses?
she got them from Enrique.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that. I don't know, but it's just like I'm just guessing.
She hit him up her ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Robert Patrick. Yeah, he did make a cameo in Last Action Hero. That's right. He walked out with there. Yeah, and that one too. Same with Sharon Stone and others, and Basic Instinct. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Last Action Hero?
I
Because
love
that
it.
was like the big film after this for Arnold.
I love it. I've been a huge fan of that one since I was a kid.
Yeah, I always liked it as well. And
I mean, it was the perfect and logical matchup because that was McTiernan, right?
yep, John McTiernan.
Yeah. So I mean, after um, was that his next movie right after Die Hard? Because Die Hard was like '88, right? Did he do anything
No,
in
he did
between?
the Hunt for Red October.
Right. Okay. I kind of figured like there was something in there.
And I
Just
think
couldn't
he
remember.
did. Didn't he do that Sean Connery one, Medicine Man, before? I think so. I know he did the film called Medicine Man with Sean Connery.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been before Last Action Hero, I think. Can't remember when that came out. Well, thank you, Hopium, real quickly. Thank you. Speed of Arnold in some way. I watched Conan from 2011 the other night. It's embarrassing. Who would make a good Conan nowadays? I don't even know nowadays. I couldn't tell you. Probably some unknown guy. Because I can't think of a guy nowadays. Hopefully not The Rock and just give him an everything again. But I couldn't tell you. I couldn't answer that question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, interesting. She has the outfit similar to. So let's say similar to the outfit she had in the first Terminator, like the same hair and stuff.
Yeah, just that was her I was gonna say dream, but nightmare of her playing with Little John right there.
Yeah.
Which is funny, like she went back to becoming a waitress like after all that shit happened. And this is all so cool. One of the darker scenes, all the miniatures. They used a ton of like air cannons blasting air at the miniatures, and a lot of the debris from off of the buildings was like it was cereal, believe it or not, but you can't really tell.
This Metallica music video.
Yeah.
That's it. But I mean, that's definitely a scene that people remember ever since they first saw. It's definitely a big effective scene that you had to see it to get into her mind, her state of mind as to why she would go and try to kill Joe Morton. Because if you see that, you can't really blame her for wanting to do what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the question for people in the chat. I'm going to ask people in the chat. You have to answer. Would you kill Joe Morton? Miles Dyson, I should say, not the actor. Would you kill Miles Dyson or not?
I'll
If you had the
answer by
chance.
saying I just thought about this just now. There was like a whole team like there on that same floor, and they were all the computers are on, and everybody's like trying to figure out the chip and the technology and stuff. I think the research would have continued. So killing him wouldn't have done anything. It might have
Yeah, but they're
delayed.
blowing up the place too.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's where they come up with the idea after the fact. Like her
Yeah.
plan is to just kill Dyson, but it's like that's not going to stop anything. If anything, you need to blow up everything,
Mhm.
and then they destroy the chip and the technology at the end.
Mm. But also, you need to. If she didn't steer him to death and tell him the truth, then he would have. If you just destroyed a lab, he would have continued the research somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it does make for a really cool scene, but I think that like him giving or them telling him the story and like cutting his arm and exposing the arm that he's got in the lab, like he probably would have believed it even if they didn't fuck his whole house up. But still, like I said, either way, it makes for a cool scene. So it's still kind of
Mhm.
a interesting idea on her part to like, oh, like I'm gonna take it into my hands and I'm gonna control fate, and like there is no judgment day because I'm in control. And she's just found this information out about Dyson recently, so that's why that's her mission in her mind.
Thank you, Hopium. Once again, thank you, man. I'm so glad the Metzstein shit from Terminator Dark Taint got her own trilogy. Oh, wait. What happened? Almost like no one liked her. Well,
Yeah.
the whole movie sucked. The Mexicanator, the chick, all the dicks, everything about that movie sucked. Killing off Edward Furlong, killing off John Connor, ripping off Terminator 2 left and right, saying, yeah, it's fine. You can find another savior. It's like finding something at the bottom of a cereal box. You just find another cereal, just find you another savior. It's easy. It's easy.
That is the dumbest fucking idea ever.
Instead of Skynet, it's just called something else, but it's the same thing.
Legion, which is so goddamn generic.
There you go, Legion.
All that nice equipment going to waste. She's got to reload.
Man, it looks like a pretty big, big, nice looking house.
Mm-hmm. Silver Wings, was that an M16? I rarely see those silenced in movies. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's true. There's not a whole lot of movies I could think of that nature. Yeah. Shoot the kid, too. Shoot the kid.
Get on the floor, bitch. She's so ruthless.
Yeah, Cameron flips flop. He flip flops a lot. He likes Genesis. He likes Genesis, then he hates Genesis. He likes Starfate, then he hates Starfate.
Yeah, I heard him say he liked part 3, and then later he was like, no. So yeah, he does flip flop.
He did the same with AVP. I remember there was an cool news like interview. He's like, "Oh, I didn't mind Alien vs Predator."
Mm-hmm.
Then of course later, flip flops all the time. It's a carbine version, a lot of variations of the M16 AR-15 platform. It's the carbine version.
Cool.
Oh, thank you, Jacob. We did Aliens last week, Jacob. If you want to check that out, that's archived on the channel. So we did do Aliens last week. As for the Abyss, Titanic, I don't know about Titanic. That's like over 3 hours long, man. I don't know about that one. The Abyss, True Lies, maybe one day if they did request it. Premier says he might request True Lies in the future. If he does, sure. But Titanic, I don't know about that one. Same with Avatar. I don't know
saying
about
that
one.
like now somebody's gonna request it. You're saying like, I don't know.
The price goes up. The price goes up because those are like over 3 hours long. At least Titanic is. I'm like, I don't want to watch that shit again. I mean, I like The Abyss of True Lies, but fuck Titanic, fuck Avatar. For me, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck those.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier we only count those 5 Cameron movies.
Okay, but I agree. I think that was one of the films you requested a while ago, Bobby. Yeah, that I would rather watch than because at least that's not 3 hours long. So yeah, Bobby, maybe that one. I don't know.
Couldn't he have just cut off like a finger, the skin off the finger? Like he had to do the whole like forearm.
But it wouldn't look as cool.
It wouldn't. I was just thinking that. Like it definitely wouldn't
But
look
yeah.
as cool.
I'm trying to remember, like, does he have like a glove or something on for the rest of it?
Mm-hmm. He does.
Okay. I was going to say he doesn't just. I wonder what he did with that skin. He just put it in the garbage or something?
Why not just put the skin back on? I mean,
would it really?
Just
I don't know. Would it fit back on?
Turn it back inside out and just put it back on.
Okay, yeah, I see the glove there. There you go, on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, not like Michael Jackson. That'd be a white glove with glitter on it. That'd be shiny. Be like Mike. But Joe Morton is a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
I always remember his line in Speed when they find out the bridge is out and he's pissed. He's like, "You're fired. You're all fucking fired."
Yeah, that's one of my favorites in that. I saw that in the theater as well.
Oh wow. I wish I had seen it in the theater.
And this I didn't see. I was way too young when this came out to see it. And not because of like the violence or anything. I don't even know if I would have been able to comprehend what was happening. But
right.
I did see it in 2017 when they re-released it.
Oh, you saw it in theaters. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I first saw this on VHS. I can't remember what age I was. I know I was fairly young. So probably around 92, 93 on VHS. I first saw it.
Yeah, somewhere in the 90s, mid to late 90s, maybe for me. I want to say mid 90s, probably. Maybe like 95. 96.
So wait, would 2017? Did you see the 3D version?
Yeah,
How was the 3D?
it looked good. I thought
Mm.
that the restoration that he had done, of course, there was no AI restoration back then, but every technique that they had used to like clean it up and make it look very pristine was just right. It still looked like a film. Um, but yeah, the 3D effects were pretty solid. And I just remember the trailer that they did, where Cameron was talking about like how they had went back and redid a lot of different stuff, not changing effects or anything like that, but just to make it look um, better than what it did from the last print. I thought it was like that was like the fine line for me where it was just right. Like it wasn't anything where like Lucas did with changing effects and shit. Like it wasn't anything like that at all. It felt like a
Mm,
proper like 3D theatrical experience, and that's also
right.
why I got the 3D Blu-ray. And I'll say, I
Oh, okay.
think I want to say for this and Terminator 1 and 2, I have several editions of both movies. And I don't just mean like, the special edition cut for the second one, just various releases over the years that they've come out with. Um, I think I got all of the like the limited edition physical media sets. Um, the only other one that I do own physically is Terminator Salvation, which I don't love, but like I said, it's the one that I can get through, and it doesn't bother me
Yeah.
the same way the other sequels do, where they just feel like parodies. They had a huge like Terminator bust from that movie, um, like in a huge set. So I bought that thing, and that goes for a lot of money now. And of course,
Yeah.
I've got all the other editions, the Skull one, where it's like the blue skull. I got the vinyl lenticular one. I got the big endoskeleton cutout piece for T2. I got the fucking arm. I've got all that shit. And I thought about doing a video on all that stuff at some point in the future. I probably will do a video on all that stuff. It would take a long time to showcase. That'll probably be one of my longest videos, just because there's so many various releases of part 1 and 2 that I own.
Hmm. Well, thank you, Jacob. I would pay you a lot to do Titanic, Avatar, and Conan. How much money? I don't know how much. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I appreciate the offer, Jacob. I don't know. I'm bad at that kind of stuff. Where
I like how he's not just a useless kid as well. Like he's like I
yeah,
can handle this. So he's learned
yeah, of
some
course.
tricks of the trade from his mom and being the foster kid, hanging out on the streets.
And Joe Morton's character, on the flip side, there's a lot of humanity to the character. He
Mm-hmm.
means well. He wants to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more to him than just this typical science nerd or something like that. He means well, and you definitely feel sorry for the character because he didn't mean for all this to happen, and there's no way he would have known and all that stuff.
Yeah. Arnold's got the key right here.
There you go. Makes sense. Big gun for a big guy. Being
Yeah.
able to handle it with the cybernetic. You know they're gonna make more Terminator stuff. You know that. So you're just wondering what's going to be next. It's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
You just wonder what the next thing's going to be. because they never let things go. Like, it's not Terminator, but that thing I read the other day, the Jason universe they want to do. The Jason universe.
Yeah, it's called Jason Universe. It looks silly, the whole thing.
Well, they
But
call that because Victor Miller has Friday the 13th, the first one, but that's still only the first one. That means Jason, the hockey mask. They just call any movie Jason. Jason Returns, Jason's Revenge, Jason Goes to Camp, Jason Saves Christmas. I don't know.
Jason Resurrected.
Jason Scared Stupid. It's just they can do anything. Anyway. Because I think, isn't there like I think there's an anime being made of Terminator. Remember hearing that?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
I never played the Terminator game that came out. I forget what it was called. Resistance, was it? I heard it was good.
That's the one, yeah, I remember hearing was pretty good. I haven't played it either. I've been burned so many times in the past by Terminator games and giving them chance after chance, and almost none of them are good. Right. Which I don't know how that's so hard to get right. You'd think
which ones have you played?
Of course, like the original one, like on Sega and stuff like that. The arcade version of T2. And then, like, I'm pretty sure whatever the first one was on PS2, I played that. I can't remember the name. It
you
has
like the arcade game, Terminator 2?
I mean, it's fine, but and I guess for the time, that's probably the best that you could hope to expect from a game like that. But I just mean like the games of like today, like in the past, like 20 years. Like the games on the PS2, like the first one that they did, I can't remember which one that one's called, but I got it. And
would that have been one of the Terminator 3 games or the one that was like Dawn of Fate?
Maybe that's what it was. That might have been at Dawn of Fate. I did play the Terminator 3 one a bit. I didn't finish that one.
There's 2 Terminator 3s.
Oh, is there? I don't even remember.
Yeah, there's Terminator the Redemption, and there's like just Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Yeah, Terminator for Sega CD, that's pretty good. If you ever play that in emulators or whatever, that's definitely a good one.
I'll have to try that one out. I don't think I played that one.
Thank you, Jacob. Maybe one day, if it gets requested, maybe. Halloween's a good movie. But yeah, if it gets requested, maybe one day. Thank you, Jacob. Here's the minigun.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, anytime you see a minigun in a movie, you always got to take some kind of leeway because obviously you use a minigun, the bullets would disappear like in 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it the chain on the side, but it's not moving? Or is it moving? I'm not seeing it.
I think it's moving. Albeit fairly, that does seem fairly slow. I do remember in the making, like
I see the bullets coming out of the bottom, but
yeah, like I remember him shooting it, and once like camera yelled cut, he yelled up at Arnold because like camera was like on the ground floor where the cop cars were. He was yelling up at Arnold. He's like, "Was that a rush or what?" Arnold was like, "Oh yeah, it was." Just because he was getting to shoot a fucking minigun out of the window of a building. Which, up until this point, you hadn't really seen that happen.
I protest the chain in it. Oh, okay. That's why. But again, like you would think the minigun, because it's going so fast, like the ammo would disappear so quickly, but it's just you gotta give leeway for a movie that you want to be able to use it for a little bit longer, so you can't have it, end too quickly. But it's always like you either don't pick on it or you're not. So that's up to the viewer. I know this stuff, like this would be stolen and put in other movies later on, like these direct-to-video films, like with Dean Cain or other movies. Like they were just, or Treat Williams, they would like steal this footage and put it in their movies. I think one was called like Militia, And I think there's like a True Williams film called like Critical Mass or something. It's like, even if you watch the trailers, it's like there's footage from that whole scene in those movies. Oh, there you go, Silver Wings. There you go. Yeah, exactly. The militia. Yep, there you go. That's what I was thinking. I think like Dean Cain is that one. I keep forgetting there's like a delay on the chat because of how YouTube is. But yep, just so yeah. Yeah, they did a lot. I don't know how they do. I mean, obviously, I guess they pay for it. But I don't know how cheap it is to pay for that stuff. There's
Yeah.
the other Tree Williams film where they literally stole the car chase from Last Action Hero. So True Williams is dressed just as Arnold, Jack Slater with the red shirt and the jacket and like the blue pants or whatever.
Here comes the SWAT team. How's he the only one that gets shot in this scene?
Because he's black.
I was thinking that. Like, that's what Denzel had a problem with.
I guess in reality, because he has no experience in combat, so no, instinct for it.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know the duck to dodge to get out of the way.
Yeah. And their orders are obviously shoot to kill because he's been shooting a fucking minigun at the police.
Yeah.
But it's like he posed no threat. He was just standing there. For all they know, that was a walkie-talkie in his hand. They're just like, oh, well.
But it seems like at this point, if they think they're a terrorist, it's like just kill, don't take chances.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, that walkie-talkie they could have thought was a bomb. Like,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, I guess technically it is, but
Right.
I'm sure they had orders like shoot to kill no matter what.
Yeah.
Which hell, I mean, sometimes you want that nowadays because you see some of these videos. I mean, not to get too off tangent, but I don't know if you saw, like, I forget how long ago, like those cops that were when the school shooting and they just stayed there and never decided to go in. And it's like, are you going to try to help the kids? Nah, we're told to stay here. And it's like, yeah, but it's like, you're not going to try to help at all. And I don't know. It was just, it's different state of affairs today. I'll just put it that way.
Right. Yeah.
Different state of affairs. I know Silver Wings. I know you talked about that on a stream you did a long time ago.
Is that Dean
But
Norris?
the parents were,
it definitely looked like him.
I think so. That might have been, yeah. Which, yeah, he was in Breaking Bad and he was in
He's also
Tremors,
in
the TV show,
and the X-Files, another X-Files person in this.
Yeah, there you go.
That's just incredible shot.
Definitely. When all you could do is like, yeah, just blow up the whole place. Why not?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they built all that from the ground up. Like all that was
Now it'd just be all like CG and digital manipulation and would not look nearly as good.
No. And another wonderful piece of effects work right here with Stan Winston's life-sized Arnold, or at least from like the waist up.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was mechanical, like it could move its head and it could blink and stuff, which makes for a great shot because they're able to, sit the camera right there on his shoulder as he's getting shot and then have him move towards the shots and then have it, actually deteriorate in camera.
Mm-hmm. Hello there, Trader. Hope you're doing well, man. We're
Yo, what's
just
up, Crater?
in the middle of watching the. No problem, man. We're just watching theatrical cut of Terminator 2, hour and 44 minutes in.
Yep.
He's just shooting all the cops with the gas grenades.
Yeah.
Right in the back. There you go, buddy.
There's so many. It's like an orgy of just weapons. It's so many. Yeah, they were saying like how Cameron definitely knows his guns, and he's very specific about which ones he wanted. Of course, he doesn't feel that way nowadays. I don't know why, but
James Cameron's a fucking pussy nowadays. Fuck James Cameron nowadays. It's a fucking pussy. Fucking pussy. Did a fucking interviews like, guns are too bad today, and if I did Terminator back in the day, I would not use guns. Fucking pussy. Guns are bad. Yeah, that's why Ripley used guns. That's why Arnold used it. Fuck that shit.
yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
Well, not only are guns bad, Matt, but testosterone is bad too.
Because James Cameron got his balls taken from Linda Hamilton in the divorce. And made bullshit like Avatar. Fucking hell. 1997 North Hollywood bank robbery. The cops had this experience where bank robbers have body armor where they wouldn't go down when shot. Lasted 44 minutes. I do remember hearing that back in the day. That's right. What are your guys' thoughts on the follow-up to T2? Yeah, I mean, I knew about the ride, Battle Across Time. I know it's on YouTube. Sadly, I never got to ride it. Never got to experience it.
I thought it was a great follow-up. I mean, it's probably the best Terminator follow-up.
Avatar fans, watch out. That's why people like it. I think the film fucking sucks. Avatar did. The mayor. Hey there, man.
What's up, man?
Yeah, I'd rather be watching Terror 2 than Dip is watching Zombies the beginning. Sucks to be them. I flipped through that movie. Have you heard of that film?
Yeah, I flipped through it before as well. I was
a B
actually
for B remake of Aliens. What the fuck?
I was going
Like a B
to get on the stream with them, but we had this to do, and I'm like, well, it's an easy pick.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, this is a better pick than Zombies the beginning or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
Although next week, Predminator did request us to watch Alien 3, so
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather be watching Zombies the beginning.
Now, do you notice in this scene with the T-1000, the helicopter, there's before I even get to that, this is just a great scene. I mean, the helicopter right behind it. He would somewhat mimic this later on in True Lies with the helicopter chasing the limo, albeit for a different reason. And with some different stakes, with the bridge being out and him trying to save Jamie Lee at the last minute. But yeah, flying the helicopter under that, like that's fucking crazy. So cool. But yeah, 3 arms. That's what I was gonna say. That the T-1000 has 3 arms in that scene. He's shooting the SMG. Yeah, and I didn't notice that until later on, like I guess in the mid 2000s when I was watching the Blu-ray. But as on the VHS, I never noticed that. There's the foreshadowing of the truck, which we'll see later.
The third arm is his dick. That's why I call him tripod. Real quickly, thank you, Jacob. A lot of people think Titanium's rated R. Well, then they're fucking dumb. What the fuck's R-rated about Titanic? Unless
Absolutely
there's
nothing.
titties I don't know about. I mean, I know someone gets naked, but I don't remember any titties. And thank you, Freddie Lit. Would this movie still be remembered finally Robert Patrick had not played the T-1000? Yeah, it would. Arnold, the action
Yeah.
sequences, the great
Mm-hmm.
score by Brad Fidel, the great set pieces, led to Hamilton, Ever for Long. They did a great job. The
Mm-hmm.
spectacle, well edited by Mark Goldblatt, director of The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, edited Rambo 2 and other movies. Yeah, it would still be well remembered, but Robert Patrick is a great cherry on top of it. So
Yeah,
it would,
definitely.
though.
Definitely. I mean, that sequence alone, I mean, he just crashed a helicopter into the back of a SWAT truck. The helicopter,
Yeah,
blows up once, like slightly, then it spins, it rotates, which was all by design. I'm sure that's exactly what he wanted to see. It's not enough, with Cameron to just have something just blow up on impact. It's got to hit this, it's got to spin, it's got to roll over, it's got to slide across the ground, which the semi truck does later. Like he's always going like that extra mile to get the most out of the action, which I appreciate a lot.
hey, Mr. Beer Belly, better get the fuck off the bridge. This guy's coming for you.
Yeah. I love it how he almost gets hit.
Yeah, it's a good job by the stunt person. The wait, you have to wait for the last minute and get the out of Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the mayor. I saw those clips, earlier today, and I'm like, that's Bruno Mattei for you. I mean, Prater. I like the film. It's not my top 5 favorite Arnold films, but I do like the film. It's a well done movie. It's not my top 5 favorite Arnold films, but it's a good one. Who thinks T3 is good? Not me. Dot the hand. Fuck that.
No, I'm not.
But yeah,
I'm
you see
Terminator 3.
these
I'm
great
good.
wide shots of the action scenes. Wonderful wide shots.
Mm-hmm.
Showcase the spectacle.
Yeah.
Back when James Cameron had balls. Now he lost them. Why did he lose his balls? I mean, I made the joke he got them divorced by Linda Hamilton, took him the divorce. Why did he lose his balls so much? Like now guns are bad and all this other shit. I know that's just to appease the new people. Maybe so he doesn't get canceled because he was an asshole to work with back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to like suck up. So hopefully people don't cancel me for being a dickhead back in the day. Is that wise or something else I'm
I
missing?
don't think he gives a shit about being canceled at this point, given the trajectory of his career and how, I guess you can't say in demand of a director he is, but his films are, at least for studios, because they know that they're guaranteed box office gold regardless of what it is. But yeah, I don't know, honestly. I would love to know why the hell he's you know changed up so much. Um, and I get all the advancements in technology and what he's trying to do with Avatar and effects and stuff, but I'd much rather have this. This is my favorite scene, by the way. Just unloading the whole magazine in his face. And
Yeah,
there,
and very commendable stunt work. Absolutely.
yes,
Surfing the damn truck.
yeah, which is probably
Still
overlooked by
pretty.
some, but like that's a great stunt. And it
Yeah.
leads to an even better scene of him just unloading the gun, and then they're dragging the semi with the tractor trailers, which are obviously off screen, but still made for a great effect of splitting the nitrogen open, which in turn freezes the T1000. But yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like so many things like lead into other things constantly throughout the movie that for me it just makes me love it that much more. And all the melted rock or melted steel, I guess. All of that is a really nice effects. They use a lot of
Mm-hmm.
plexiglass, um, and just adding smoke, sound effects, doing sparks on the holders when you see them. Those are actually hollow. There's like lights shooting through. Again, just very simple stuff, but it works. It looks really good. You can't tell the difference. You would think that that's actually real and really there. This another fantastic sequence here with the T1000 breaking down. They use the amputee for the limbless parts, and then they have the other parts where they do have the limbs, and you actually see Robert Patrick a little later. It's he's like in the ground halfway. So yeah, and a lot of editing as well, which you mentioned earlier. He did such a great job editing um, this whole
Real
thing
quick,
here.
like someone, creators asking where you found the artwork and the backgrounds here of Terminator, like the artwork.
Um, I'd have to check. I'll get back to you that as soon as this is over, Crater, if you're still here. And if not, I'll send you a link to it on the Discord.
Yeah, this wasn't Hot Shots 2. It was Saddam Hussein. And later becomes half man, half dog. Whatever. I remember that.
He's melting. Did you see that they did manage to do something where like they could program like I don't even know what the material is, but it looks like a liquid metal type thing like this. Do you
Yeah,
know
it
that?
looks like Mercury.
Yeah. But yeah, it's programmable. So
Hmm.
in theory, he did sort of foreshadow like what was to come with this technology and of course with AI, which hopefully doesn't get too much more out of hand than it is right now.
Well, I guess we'll find out sooner or later.
Yeah, unfortunately, we will.
At least those workers are smart to get the fuck out of Dodge. Count
Yeah.
goes from 90% profitable. Yeah, now it's all CG everything. Probably
Mm-hmm.
sleeps with a fucking computer stuck up his ass.
Yeah, I mean, I miss the blending of the two. Like, this was the perfect combination of like blending the two together.
Yeah.
Um, and even if you don't like have Stan Winston around now, unfortunately, that's really sad that he's not around anymore. But like, there's still other talented people, so that's not even an excuse. Like, oh, there's nobody I can use. No, there's plenty of talented people out there. And just like before, if you wanted to make it work, you could make it work. But I mean, he just doesn't exist in that realm anymore. I mean, he's completely off, and I always call it Avatar land. He's stuck there, and he said he's only going to make movies in that space. So from now on, I mean, it's sad, but that's why I said his career's over to me. It's not. I could care less about Avatar. I don't give a fuck.
He'll make money. I mean, he'll be rich as hell. He'll keep
Yeah,
making money.
as
Congrats
if he
on
needs
him.
any
But
more though. Like he's got enough fucking money.
yeah, I know. I those they'll make money, but it just I have no interest.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's a like you have to make it much more of a threat for such a big hulking guy like Arnold at this point of his career.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that like he could just change from a head to an arm, like
Mm-hmm.
to be this in a weird way like flexible way of liquid is
but then
showcases how much of a threat
but
he
then
is.
the blend of practical again though, like he cuts right back after he shoots like the whole punch sequence going through the head. They got Patrick in like that
But
suit that
but
Winston built
sadly,
for him.
as we come to find out, it's not by choice; it's by necessity because we didn't have that at the time. If he had the choice, he would have made all this digital if he was able to.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sad thing. But he didn't do this by want. He did this by this is all he had. And nowadays, like you remember, he said if aliens, he would make the Queen CGI. Remember that interview? If he did aliens today, it would be CGI. The Alien Queen.
What's Terminator without guns? Like, how is he going to terminate anyone? Like, doesn't even make any sense.
Harsh language.
Yeah.
You'd get canceled to death. Yeah, Avatar made money, and I mean, they may make money, but I don't think they're going to be as much of the lexicon as people think.
No.
Juan Carlos Ruiz Burgos, he found the artwork creator.
Oh,
Juan
cool.
Carlos.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a good effect there.
Mm-hmm. Here it comes.
Oh, okay, this is getting to the scene that again makes no fucking sense whatsoever to me. This scene, I mean, I like to say this scene makes no fucking sense whatsoever. He could kill her, throw her over, you melt in seconds. He can look like her. He can mimic her voice like he did Jeanette Goldstein earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he need her to call to John? He could look like her. He could sound like her. He could be like her. He could get rid of the body in 30 seconds. We've seen him go through the guard's the guard's eye.
Mm-hmm.
He could sound like Jeanette Goldstein. He could sound like her. Why does he not do it?
He does it anyway later, which it's like, why did you feel the need to like torture her?
Yeah, he could have done that or anything. And then here he would have like put Arnold down for the count for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Arnold would be stuck. She'd be dead. Go up to John. Game over. But you can't have the movie end that way, I guess.
Yeah.
So. I like the film. It's just that scene makes no fucking sense. And it's a Terminator. It's not like, T-1000 all of a sudden has these sadistic feelings like it wants to be, I don't know, Rutger Hauer from The Hitcher or something.
Mm-hmm.
One good thing to say about Avatar, it makes me appreciate Cameron's Piranha movie more. I mean, do you ever even say that's his movie?
No.
I was waiting for that answer.
No.
He's like, I guess no.
I've never counted that. He worked on that for a few days and was fired unjustly.
Hi there, Richard. Hope you're doing well. He's glitching this point, but he can't be glitching that much when he decides to look like Sarah Connor like 5 minutes later. So he's not glitching enough that he can still look like her. Especially in the theatrical cut, you don't really see much of the. You see a teeny bit of the glitching, but you don't really know how much that entails.
Right. And yeah, I mean, I guess to their point, like
Predminator,
maybe
he doesn't look at the shoes. We never see a shot of the shoes, Predminator. ET mentioned that we never ever see the shoes at all in the theatrical cut. And even then, John literally went up to her and did not look at the shoes at all. He literally was ready to go towards her. It's because he saw that there was a second Sarah Connor. He was not looking at her feet at all. And let's be honest, how many of us actually looked at someone's shoes when you go up to someone? Very, very rarely. So I'm sorry, guys. I don't buy the shoe thing. Maybe in the special edition, well, this is the theatrical edition. This is what most people first saw the movie as.
But
And
yeah,
if that's the case, then he still pretends to be her.
I
He
guess
could have at least killed.
maybe he didn't have
That
the
still doesn't change
ability.
the fact he could kill her, get her out of the way, and sound like Sarah Connor. If he still tries to pretend to be her, he still changes his looks to her. Then, like right here, why is he doing it in the first place then? If he killed her, then at least that's one less to worry about.
Maybe only because at that point in time he couldn't do it. He could only manipulate his body and he couldn't mimic. Now, of course, we don't have that much time in the end of the third act to
Instead
explain
of
all that.
5 minutes.
Yeah. No, only because they were saying he's not the same after he got broken down,
Right.
and then he rebuilt himself. So maybe he didn't have the ability at that point to mimic her. So he just used a tactic of trying to get her to call to him. And then he does gain the ability back within a few minutes, but he just didn't know he would be able to. That's the only thing I could think of. But like I said, there's no reason to try to explain it or anything. Just to the audience, they probably Cameron's like, well, they're not going to notice. So
And if it showed like he couldn't, like maybe he tries to do it, he tries to call out and he can't, and we know it's his malfunction, then maybe it would make sense to call out to John. Like maybe if he tries to do that earlier, but it doesn't work. Like that bit of establishment, maybe to better further explain that. It's not a big deal. It's just something I noticed.
Yeah, I think that's why he did have that scene of him malfunctioning in the special edition. Maybe that was intended to stay in, but towards the end, they're like, well, fuck it. And he just takes it out. And it probably would lead to a bit more confusion once that scene happens. Because you don't have any context for why he doesn't just change into her at that moment. But him, because I think he touches the pole or something, and then his hand mimics the pole, but it's he didn't want it to, so he shakes his hand and then it goes back to normal. So I guess maybe he did have some morphing ability issues at that point. But that was a great effect, though, them blasting the body open right there for him to fall backwards.
Yeah, and the little detail that's going through all the people he mimicked before. You see a bit of the guard, you see a bit of Jeanette Goldstein and others. And then it becomes the Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer.
That's how the Silver Surfer died. He's melted. Well, now it's a female Silver Surfer, so it can't even say that. Because that Silver Surfer is a woman.
And he's just destroyed here. Just beat to shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but I looked at the chat. Yeah, I didn't know that Linda Hamilton's twin sister passed away. That's too bad. In 2020. Rest in peace to her.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Maybe Cameron pulled ET, replaced all the guns and turned walkie-talkies. It sounds like it by his interviews. Been doing interviews that he doesn't like guns and he wishes he never used guns in Terminator. I mean, it's called the Terminator. Was he going to terminate contracts? Terminate, your ticket, no parking, no ticket, like Indiana Jones. What the hell?
And for you, this is obviously the definitive end for Terminator. They've destroyed
for me. Yes.
Yeah, the technology is destroyed. They prevented Judgment Day.
Because in the
Not,
third one, like they just make all this pointless. Because it's
mhm,
like fate is what we make, and then the third one's like, nah, not really. Fate is what it is. It's not what you make. It's inevitable. I'm like, doesn't that
mhm,
negate your whole point? Is fate is what we make? So all this is pointless. Him going down to the steel is pointless. Like he
mhm.
could have just fixed himself up and kept going. This was all pointless. Really? I hate when I sometimes with exceptions. Like I love Elm Street 4, even though the beginning does stuff to Elm Street 3. There are exceptions, but more times than not, I hate when a sequel contradicts the previous one. If the previous one was such a good movie, and it's like Alien 3 to Aliens, Terminator 3 to Terminator 2, Clerks 3 to Clerks 2, the list goes on.
Clerks
And
3.
I just hate when they do that because it just, to me, it doesn't show respect to what comes before it. Again, there are exceptions
Mhm.
I could deal with
Yeah,
on a case
yeah.
by case basis, but for the most part, it's such an annoying trope for me personally.
Mhm. Yeah, it's the
I don't know
biggest.
how you feel about it.
No, I agree. It's the biggest sin you can commit is to like subvert or even destroy what's come before, especially when you make an inferior film. Like it'd be different if like, hey, I'm going to change it, and somehow, some way, your film is actually better. Then I'd be like, okay, well, hmm, maybe I can go with that. Like this is actually better, but that never happens. That's the problem. Like it's always worse. So like, just don't do that. No more
Well, I
sequels.
mean, technically, you would say Friday the 13th Part 2 did that, right? Where you think, okay, Jason is a kid, he died, but then really he's alive and
Hmm.
he's out there walking around and he's this crazy adult that somehow finds Alice's address, looked in the phone book and drove there or something. Oh, did he walk there? Did he drive there? Did he hitchhike? Did he take a cab? I don't know. So it explained to me.
I
But
I had always seen the. We're getting a little off topic here, but I had always seen the fan theory that like a lot of people like said that that's what made the ending of Friday the 13th a little bit more tragic is that it was all for nothing because it's not that he actually did drown. She thought that he drowned. And when she's
mm,
doing his voice at the end, she's not channeling him from the grave. She's just insane because of the
right.
trauma of her thinking that she had lost her son in such a tragic way. But I mean, there's different ways you could look at it. This is a
Yes,
great.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say this is a great ending right here.
Yeah.
They give the audience a little touching moment because obviously he's emotionally connected to the Terminator by this point, but he's got to say goodbye. Um,
And
and,
if you played Doom, and if you played Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal, if you fall into lava, he does the thumbs up, just like that scene there. If you die, he does like the thumbs up, like that
mm-hmm,
nice nod.
yeah,
And yes, that it does bother me because I still like Terminator 2. It's still a good movie, and it's still I respect it. And like I like the original three Star Wars films. Are they my favorite films of all time and top 100 favorite? No, but I
mm-hmm,
like it and I respect them. And then when they shit on it, yeah, it does bother me. It does bud me. And I know more hardcore fans it would bother them even more so. And plus, I know how it feels. Just Aliens is my favorite film of all time, and then I got Alien 3. So know how it is to feel when you have a film you love and then people want to shit the bed for no good valid reason. So yeah, I like Terminator 2 and Terminator 3 shit the bed in my opinion. You know, I like the three Star Wars films and everything Disney did shit the bed for various reasons. And it's
mm-hmm.
just they do that a lot and
Yeah,
it's fucking old hat.
yeah, they do it way too often, way too often. And I still have mine playing just because the
Yeah.
music is so damn good.
Yeah. Brad Fidel, man. What was the last film he did music for? Because he did Fright Night.
I
I think he did
love.
Fright Night 2. He did.
Yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
did Fright Night 2 as well. I love those. Um, I'm pretty sure he retired early, right?
I don't know. I'm wondering.
Yeah, I think
Because
he's
I thought he did a couple things after this.
no, I think he stopped. Like
Mm.
his last movie from that's what I off my top of my head. I think it was 99-ish, maybe.
Mm. Because he did Just Before Dawn back in the day. He did Fright Night 1 and 2, Terminator 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. He also did Johnny Mnemonic, the classic.
Oh, okay. I don't remember a damn bit of the score of China Mott, to be honest. If you do, God bless. Did he do True Lies?
Yeah, he did. I love the score for True Lies. One of
Okay.
my favorites.
All right. Yeah. I think he did the theme music for that Time Cop TV show that lasted like a year. I think.
Yeah. I know he
For some
did.
fucking reason.
I think he did a Little Tales from the Crypt. He did some quite a few TV movies. But yeah, I think the last stuff he did was like the late 90s. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But I mean, he had been working since like mid 70s and he's like, "All right, I'm done." I wish he would still do more stuff though.
Yeah. Definitely talented.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens better than Aliens? I disagree. I like both, but Aliens is my favorite Richard. Yeah, it's a good ending, Nippy. Constantine 2, I like the first film, but Keanu does not have a good track record with sequels lately. Did not like Bill and Ted 3 at all.
Mm-hmm.
Loved the first two, hated the third one, and did not like John Wick 4. Like the first three, not a fan of the fourth one. So lately, I'm just not gonna know about Keanu sequels. Although I do like Constantine, I saw in the theater, still quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
You couldn't finish Bill and Ted 3? I don't blame you. I did.
Yeah. I
Barely.
I finished it and I just thought like, wow, in comparison to the other two, like I'd much rather watch those. I'll never watch the third one again.
Like Bill and Ted did nothing but were fools. But at least in the first two, they were fools that did something. They literally did nothing, and their daughters did like, let's do the first two movies in a third of the time.
You also didn't
Jesus
have
Christ.
Carlin as well, which was
Well, because he passed away, of course.
yeah, that's just what I mean. Like he was sorely missing.
Except that
Predminator.
one girl, I forgot her name.
Yeah. Or I mean, I guess you're talking about just movies overall, Predminator. If you mean movies overall, probably. I'm trying to think of like my top 20 movies though. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Premier, do you mean of all time, or you mean like this year of 1991? All time?
Mm-hmm.
No. I like the film, but no. They're just other films I like more that I feel like are more underrated.
Mm-hmm.
That I just personally rewatch for different reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if
I
they're not
mean,
underrated, they're just other films I like more. Take
yeah.
care, Bobby.
Later, Bobby. I'll I'll say yes, but then I want to say no because like I think when I start thinking about like my all-time favorites, there's so many. So it's like, would that fit in there? It's up there for sure. don't get me wrong. I mean, I have no problems with T2. It's definitely up there for me.
Yeah, Neopunk. Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
91. Yeah, absolutely. I was just answering Neopunk. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be on that list. Yeah, Neopunk, of course. Speed 3. I hope not. Speed
Yeah.
2 was bad enough.
Well, him and Sandra want to do it. The last interview
Well,
I
I want
saw
to have
with the two of
$1
them, they
million,
were.
but shit happens.
It might be happening. They're both lobbying for it. So,
Well, again, I want to have $1 million, but it ain't happening anytime soon.
you want $1 million, a mansion, and a Victoria's Secret model for a wife. But
There you go.
yeah. I don't know if they should do that. Like, I don't even know how that would work. I mean, I guess you'd have to ignore the second movie because wasn't she like gonna marry Jason Patrick in 2? She's like jumping from guy to guy. Like, I don't know how that would work.
Well, I don't know, he got killed off or something, or dumped his ass or something. I don't know. What would even be the gimmick? A bus, a boat, what's next? A plane, a train?
I would guess a train. It would have to be something on the ground. Probably a train.
So you just go watch Unstoppable with Denzel.
Or the end of Money Train.
Or the Money Train, yeah.
No,
Like,
he'd
what would it be? Like, the plot?
it'll be a love triangle where Jason Patrick and Keanu Reeves fight over Sandra Bullock, and
Jason Patrick is the villain. He went crazy.
yeah, we find out
He
Dennis
decides
Hopper was his uncle, and he wants revenge.
he decides to use leeches too, like Willem Dafoe, and
Yeah,
that made him crazy. Yeah, Speed 3 on a scooter, skateboard. There you go, skateboard. He's tied to a skateboard. It's going 10 miles per hour. Whatever. I don't fucking know. Yeah, it'd be a tank like that guy that drove the tank all around the damn city, and the only way it stopped was like it ran out of gas or something. And the guy just kept driving around the tank. It was something like that. I forget what the details were. Runaway tank.
oh man, looking at the comments, Speed in space. Don't say it. It'll probably happen.
I barely remember Solar Babies. Like the title, I remember. Like I remember the cover. I do not remember the movie. I know it's like a group of kids. They find some like glowing ball. Hey there, Jay. Hope you're doing well, man. Nice to see you in here.
What's up, Jay?
Been a long time, Jay. Hope you're doing well, man. It's been a long time. How you doing?
Yeah, we just finished T2. It just went off.
Yep, just got done.
Neopunk, I didn't even watch the second trailer, so I don't know.
Neither did I. I don't care about another Bad Boys film. Do not give a rat's ass. And I like the first 3, but I don't give a rat's ass about another Bad Boys film.
Is it just overall, or is it because of Will Smith?
Both.
Both.
Third one was fun. I like the third one. Now you're pushing it, and it's like Dimension Returns. I saw the first trailer.
Mm-hmm.
All it did was steal everything from the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
They're amongst racist rednecks, and they're making jokes like they did in Bad Boys 2. They're arguing about candy and Skittles, like in Bad Boys 1.
I hate. You know me. I hate that. That's my thing. I hate when sequels repeat jokes from the original movie. Do not do that. Just leave that in the last film.
Favorite moment T2? That's tough. A lot of good moments in the movie. It's hard to pick a favorite. Probably a favorite special effect is when he comes out of the hospital bed, the hospital floor. The checkerboard is such a photorealistic effect. Favorite stunt, maybe the helicopter truck chase.
Yeah.
Just how you're able to deal with the helicopter, practical, especially years and years after Twilight Zone, the movie. Like you're handling a helicopter, you know how dangerous it can be for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, and to handle it like it's going under bridges, like that's a very commendable scene. And like we were talking about the stunt when he's on top and surfing the truck, like that whole scene is very well done.
Yeah, that's my favorite scene when he's shooting him in the face when the T-1000 is driving the semi. That's always
With
been
a
my
gun.
favorite. Yes. With the assault rifle.
The mayor, Mark liked Clerks 3, nothing but repeat jokes from the other Clerks films.
So fucking terrible, man. Just like, why? Don't you have any new jokes? I'd rather hear bad new jokes than hear the same shit from the last movie. It's just,
you know, they someone found that Kevin Smith film Cure Was Here, and they released it now on that website archive.org, so you can watch it. Someone found a copy and released it. I didn't watch it because fuck, but it's like an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm probably not watching that. Like,
if you want,
yeah,
Crater. I fucking hate Clerks 3.
You're not alone.
But people just, me and Mark hate it too. But we hate it. I hate everything. But people were blowing that movie, and then some when that movie came out, they were blowing that movie.
Yes.
Every drop, every swallow.
There are guys on YouTube that interviewed Kevin right when it came out, and I know at least two guys like saw like a private screening that he himself had set up for them for just early reviews and stuff. And then like they went on to say like how great it was and how it's the perfect follow-up, and they had me fooled like just a tiny bit because I'm like, all the reviewers, they were saying it was good. I didn't see anybody that shit on it or said it wasn't, as funny or there's any problems whatsoever. They were like, it's heartfelt, it's emotional, it's just as funny as the old Kevin Smith stuff. Like it's got everything you want. And then I see the movie and I'm like, this is the exact opposite of those reviews. I mean, if I was them, I mean, I know I gotta keep my job and everything, but I'd be honest and I'd just ask him, like, what were you thinking? Like, why would you make a film that's this depressing? Because that, as much as I disliked it and I hated the acting and the jokes and all that, my biggest question is like, why would you make a depressing film? Like, it's a comedy. Why is it depressing? That's the exact opposite of what a comedy should be. It just baffles me to no
That's
end.
how real life works, Mark. That's how real life works. Real life is not all sunshine and rainbows. There's comedy and tragedy. So you just suspect happy endings and sunshine and rainbows, Mark.
There is no comedy in the tragedy of a pregnant woman dying. Like, there's no comedy there.
I agree with you. I'm just this is where that's what they say.
Oh man.
I'm not saying I get it. I'm just saying that's what they fucking say. Teach their own.
Fucking stupid.
Ain't for me.
And I think we were both big fans of his at one point. Up into a certain point, I was super into all the Kevin Smith stuff.
Yeah.
But I think like when you get to Red State, that's where it was like, okay, maybe I'll give him a pass. He's super out of his element. I would never expect him to do a horror film. He's trying something different. He has no major studio behind him. It's an indie flick. I tried to think of things like that. Maybe this is the reason for why this movie is the way that it is and what we got. But shit, if I had known what's to come, like it actually, now looking back, I mean, I do have more of an appreciation for Red State, given the fact that, like, look at fucking yoga hosers or like, come on, man. Like, that's just, he's not trying. Like, you're just shooting something and then putting it out. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, you have the opportunity as a filmmaker to make movies, and you're privileged. You have an established name and career and your reputation, and you just throw it away for no fucking reason. And if you're done, if you're burnt out and you don't give a shit, then just do your podcast thing. Just do that. Just don't make movies. I don't really believe that he thinks that those movies are good. I mean, he shits on most of them all the time anyway, especially yoga hosers. So it's like, why even fucking make that? Why spend all that time and launch a production and spend money and cast these
Where's
people?
daughter?
And well, I mean, okay, that's one side of it, but she got cast in other stuff. Like she was in Once Upon a
Before or
Time in
after that?
Hollywood. That was later
Before or
on.
after that?
That's the thing.
Well,
I'm
there you
not
go.
sure. Well, I mean, technically, her first movie was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back because she was the baby in the stroller.
Yeah.
She is credited in that. So yeah, I guess. But still, there's no way that, like, why would you put her in a movie that's not good though? That doesn't make sense to me. Does that make sense to you? Like, just to put her in something, you make something shitty? Wouldn't you try your hardest to, like, launch her career properly?
Because he thought it was good.
There's no way, dude. There's no way.
Dude, the guy cries at every movie trailer that comes out. He cried at episodes of the Flash TV show.
That is very true.
Who cries at episodes of the TV show of the Flash or Supergirl?
Kevin Smith.
Who the fuck? Oh, I'm gonna watch Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker trailer and cry. Who the fuck does that, folks?
Yeah.
I get maybe one time and it meant a lot to you, but for fuck's sake, 13 times he's done that? Like, come on now. So I do think he thinks Clerks 3 is a good movie, and yet people blowing him saying it is. Now, I didn't, to be fair, if they sincerely like it, teach their own. But if the people who go see your shows, they clap for it, echo chamber, who's going to tell them otherwise? Unless, oh, it's just a troll. Look how butthurt he got when people got mad at that He-Man cartoon he produced.
Yeah.
He got mad. He did a whole podcast thing like, people, complain about that it's, just people were sexist or whatever the hell he said.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Kevin's a different guy. It's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there is no shortage of, like, filmmakers sort of losing their mind toward the end of their career anyway. I don't know why that seems to happen. But there are plenty of filmmakers who do good stuff in the first part of their career and even in the middle. But then when they get to the very end, they lose it somehow.
Well, think about it this way. Think about the environment they're in. You're in an environment where more and more people praise you, say nice things about you. You do shows where people compliment you. They pimp you up with gifts, opportunities, events. You're invited to Comic-Cons. You're invited to do Q&A. How many Q&As did that guy get invited to for films he had nothing to do with? Buckaroo Banzai, The Rocketeer for some reason, and all this other stuff. And, when you're given that much stuff over and over again, it becomes a bit of an addicting environment that you don't want the ride to stop. And by doing that, you're willing to have your perception changed on buying into their point of view or their taste or maybe even their methodology, and maybe even subconsciously thinking, oh, well, if this and this person likes it, maybe it's pretty good as well. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
a different entire lifestyle compared to who he was back in Jersey. Completely different lifestyle. Same with a lot of these folks.
Mm-hmm.
Completely different lifestyle of Hollywood, parties, all this other stuff they go through on a daily basis. Their lives on a daily basis completely different from all of us.
Yeah.
And it's one thing that you imagine what a day in the life, but weeks and months and years
Mm-hmm.
of that connection, of that, I mean, after a while, you can become a different person.
Like Cameron.
Yeah, like James Cameron hating guns.
Yeah,
Which
I
he
mean,
which he got mad at Sigourney Weaver for saying that in Aliens, because she didn't want to use guns. And he's like, you gotta use guns. But now
mhm,
he's saying guns are bad. So the thing you're mad at Sigourney Weaver about in Aliens, now you're saying the same thing.
right, yeah. Yeah, that's very hypocritical. MTH, I thought about that. Um, Tarantino like stopping at 10
10 movie
movies.
rule. Yeah.
I don't know about the number of films. I don't know if that really has anything to do with it. I do
Well,
think
he
that
probably just picked the number,
yeah.
but it's the idea of not to just keep going
Mhm.
forever.
But to me is like as long as you care about what you're doing and you actually do have something of quality, a good story to tell, why not make
But
it?
that's what Tim Smith thought with Clerks 3. He thought it was a good story to tell.
No, see, I
He
don't
thought he
believe that.
cared.
There's no way. Like, there's
Why?
just
Why do you not believe it?
because he does not care about his career anymore. That's blatantly obviously when you sit there and you shoot something like Yoga Hosers. You cannot tell me he cares. There's no I'm never gonna believe that. There's no way.
He
It's
probably
just
does. If he didn't care about that, I still think he cared about Clerks 3. And he thought this was his love child, so to speak. If the
I
others were
will
just for
say that
fun and the giggles,
right.
he thought Clerks 3, and I think it's his worst film, but
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I will say I think he did care about those characters to a degree, but just what he ended up doing, like God, it's so bad.
he thinks
Like
that was the right
just
decision.
what'd you say?
He thinks that was the right decision. Like
Oh.
he he thought that was the way to go about Clerks 3, and then the people that defend it are like reiterating what he says, the meaning of it, the deeper methodology of it.
Mhm.
And what they're saying and defending is how Kevin Smith thinks of it.
Hmm.
Not saying we understand it,
Mhm.
but yeah, I do think Kevin cared. It's just it was the wrong call,
Wrong
in my
execution.
opinion.
Hmm.
It's the wrong call, Ripley. It was the wrong call.
Yeah, I guess I
Well,
could see
Johnny
that.
Depp was in that because uh, he wanted a Johnny Depp cameo, and his daughter starred in it. So it's like, fine, your daughter can star with my daughter. Can I get you to do a cameo? And he's probably like, well, I want to play this. You could be in makeup and play this goofy character, since he loves playing goofy characters.
Mhm.
Look at Alice in Wonderland and the photo acting and all that other stuff.
Right, yeah.
He loves playing those goofy characters, and it's like, I get to have Johnny Depp in my movie as long as I cast his daughter as one of the stars.
Yeah, I can see that being a selling point, yeah. And I guess,
And
like,
yeah,
it go
their
ahead.
daughters did go to school together.
Mhm.
That's right, siblings. He talked about that too.
I was gonna say that is a chance for her to make something with her friend, but I don't know that we'll never know the mystery of what happened to Kevin Smith. That could be a documentary in itself. And then some people brought up Ridley Scott. Um, I wouldn't say he's as lost because visually, I still think he's making good stuff. Um, Screenplay wise, I don't know about some of the stuff that he's choosing. That's definitely questionable. Um, he's funny though because like I remember when Last Duel came out and he was on the internet. He was on a bitch mission on the internet. Like nobody wants to see period piece movies. Everybody wants to go watch fucking Marvel and those movies that are trash and they're not cinema. And it's like, dude, unfortunately, you might have made a good film, but people don't go see that. I like westerns, but that's a dead genre. Like those typically don't make a lot of money. Um, it's just the
Yes,
state of.
make
Go ahead.
make good cinema like Alien Covenant. That kind of good cinema, really, like
Yeah,
Alien Covenant.
yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Xenomorph killing people in the shower. Starring Danny McBride. Great cinema there, Ridley. I get you.
Yeah, that really messed with me because I'm like, just make your stuff. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. Um, you're Ridley Scott. Just make your own thing. Don't worry about everybody else. And unfortunately, that like I said, I was gonna say that's the state of the game right now. Like it is very how should I say a dead market almost. I mean, people go to the movies, but like not the way they used to. You know, like it doesn't seem to
Right.
be. There's too much easy access. That's another thing. Like, I mean, you got streaming. You can watch most movies for free. You don't really have to pay for them. The internet's opened up everything. Um, and then the younger generation, for the most part, they don't really care about physical media like that. So they don't care about you know the extras and like how we do. They don't care about commentaries and who did the fucking score. They could give a shit about that kind of thing. That it's just it's a floating digital entity to them that provides them an hour or two of entertainment and then they're done. And those people probably don't even watch the movie more than once. So the fact that he's expecting like a whole younger generation of people to like even go see like a period piece film, like you got a better chance at like flying to the moon naked or some shit. Like it's just not gonna happen. Like like it's not in the cards, man. Like I think it's unfortunate though, because like those films do have their place. I think cinema's like it's a wide range of like you can have pretty much anything and everything. Like even stuff that's bad. I don't think people intentionally make bad films. They just happen to fuck up in a certain area. It might be a bad script, or maybe it read better than what they shot it as, or everything just didn't line up correctly. Maybe it was bad editing. And we were talking about T2, like this film has so many things and so many things perfectly lined up to make the film as good as it is. Any
Mm-hmm.
one thing could have thrown the film completely off. Imagine if the editing was bad. You might be like, yeah, there's a good movie in there somewhere, but I'm just not seeing it because like the editing is so fucked up. Or maybe the score
Right.
could have been bad and then the score would have been annoying. And you're like, well, I like the movie, but the music, man, I fucking hate it. I don't want to hear the music. So then, like, how do you combat that? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that can go wrong with movie make with movie making overall.
Right.
But yeah, I think that like film in general, like it'll always have its place. I don't think it'll go away. Um, just because like it's a piece of entertainment. It's part of pop culture. There are screens everywhere, and through those screens, you're gonna have to funnel content through tablet, phone, computer monitor, TV. Every home has a TV. There's always going to be content to pump through. So like it'll forever have its place. For that much, I am grateful for.
at
Yeah.
this point?
Yes,
Yeah, go
Mayor.
ahead.
Just answering Mayor. Yeah. Gladiator 2 is coming, and yeah, it's Ridley.
No, just saying. I mean, with the way things are, man, if they stop making movies tomorrow, I can't say I'd be that sad. I don't need more films like. I mean, every once in a while there's a decent film, but
hmm
we talked about this earlier in the stream. Like I saw the trailer of that film Wicked, and it's
hmm
like, give me a fucking break. Like that's what we need. Wizard of Oz, but what if the Wicked Witch was evil because of racism? She's too green. Get the fuck out of here.
That's just ridiculous.
So much of this bullshit.
There is a lot of bullshit. I will say, like, while the medium is wide open, like there, it leaves the door open for more bullshit to come through. Um,
It's a lot of bullshit to wade through to get to a decent one, at least in
yeah,
my eyes.
no, I mean you're not wrong. But I'm also part of the camp of people that thinks that like all the best films have been made already. That's
Mm.
just me though. Like at least I don't know about you, but to me, like I think all the best stuff has been made already. I don't really see anything topping a lot of the movies of not even, and I'm not even talking about like sequels or franchises or anything like that. I just mean like even if it's a one-off film, like if it's a particular very niche like
That's
subgenre
pretty
of something,
depressing.
it-
Kind of
that's
depressing
just
then,
the
if that's the
state of the
case.
game, man. Like that's where we are. like like I don't think we're going to get another Terminator 1. Like that's been done. Um
Is that nostalgia or is that just how things are today?
No, I think that's just how I think. Wait, you mean like just my opinion on like the best stuff already being
Yeah,
made? No,
yeah.
I just think that's what it is. I mean, like, put it this way: look at all of like the most iconic films from either the '70s, '80s, even the '90s. Have any of those films been triumphed in their respective genres? Take the best horror film of the '70s or the '80s, and just one in particular, one from each decade. Have
Hmm.
anything come out in the last 10 years even that's been better than any of those movies? No. And the way shit's
Talk to
going,
me.
yeah. That's a good one. But yeah, like it's just not gonna get any better. So you can only dig through the weeds and try to find the best thing that comes out, which is a task in itself. And it shouldn't be like that, but again, that's the way it is. What can you do?
Mm. Problems with films today, they're made by corporations, committees, and filmmakers. It's a good point. Megalopolis, no, I don't care. Fuck Francis Ford Coppola, he's a piece of shit. Fuck him and any movie he does.
I agree, Neopunk. I agree. I wouldn't say older shitty movies are better, but I just mean the best movies that are older are the best ones that are made, and they probably will just stay that way. I don't think you're going to get another. Even filmmakers, for example, like how many great new filmmakers have come along? Nowhere near as many as the ones that have already come along before or have already passed away, unfortunately. To me, that just doesn't happen. Like even new actors. I mean, who's the new hot female actor in Hollywood? Jenna Ortega? Like, come on. Like, who's there to look forward to that's new? That's my thing. I'm always open to the next new person. I want to see the next new person break through and actually be
Bill
really good.
Skarsgård.
Oh God, don't get me started.
Bill
and
Skarsgård.
and you know, I always talk about him, but like I don't hate him. I mean, he's got to
Right.
earn a fucking paycheck too, like everybody else. But you know, I don't think he should be cast as everything or in everything. But again, you know, it's he's got to make money. It's a business.
Did you see that Ty West House of the Devil Innkeepers get a 4K from Dark Sky Films? Nah, I haven't follow that. That's more Mark's department. Mark, have you bought them yet?
The 4K for what? Which one?
House of the Devil and the Innkeepers, Dark Sky Films,
Mm-mm.
4K.
No. I probably
Not yet.
wouldn't. I probably wouldn't upgrade those though. I don't really see myself upgrading those. I have House of the Devil already, and Innkeepers on Blu-ray both, so I probably wouldn't even upgrade them.
Stream movies have to stop. Well, they ain't stopping. You're getting another one.
That's right.
You get one with Kevin Williamson directing and Nev Campbell starring, and you get another and another and another. It will not stop until you are dead, as Kyle Reese would say. It will not stop until you are dead. And keep going. Because they made money. They made money.
Yeah. Mayor, you said Mia Goth is the answer. I would say It Girl for like genre movies, but I don't think she's got nearly the same, like, I hate to even say this, but like people like Zendaya or like Mia Goth is like, I like Mia Goth, but like she's very much pigeonholed into like genre fare. And as much as I love horror, it's never going to be well respected like it should be. It always seems like the black sheep of genres, which is stupid because like I think every genre should have a fair chance. But yeah, like I don't know, maybe she'll have a big breakout movie coming up. But
here's the thing: there's no such thing. There are no movie stars anymore. Here's what people have to realize: movie star is dead. It's been dead for a while. People would say Tom Cruise, but even that's not. Last Mission Impossible didn't do that well. Kind of bombed. Movie stars are dead. Like the era of movie stars are dead. They've been dead for a while.
We're in the last era of the last remaining movie stars. All the guys that you would consider to be names, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Keanu Reeves, those guys are in their 60s. Like, we're in the last era of those guys even participating in a ton of movies like they used to. Like I do agree with that though. I've had that conversation with a friend of mine who's a huge movie fan as well, and we talk about that all the time. Like, who's going to be the next guy? Like, who's the next big talent? Usually who they choose is not who you want. Like, the person they put over is not usually who you want. It's kind of like wrestling. But maybe things could take a turn for the better. I always want them to, but will they? I just don't really see it happening.
No, I mean, you look at movie theaters, you look at the box office is very, very low. And I think it's only going to get lower. And I said, I don't think you don't get much of anything nowadays. No, even Tom Cruise is not going strong. The last Mission Impossible flopped pretty much. Dead Reckoning. That's why they had to change it from like, it's not Dead Reckoning Part 2 or whatever stuff anymore. They have to refigure stuff. The Mummy was a bomb. Yeah, Top Gun made money, but you know, Tom Cruise can't do it forever either. Again, I'll be right back. Actually, I'll probably have to head out. It's about midnight.
Okay.
So it's like 12:15 right now. So I gotta head out to bed. But thank you, Predminator. Thank you, Stuntman Marq, for joining me.
Of course.
Thank you guys out here in the chat. It's like 12:15 a.m. I gotta hit the hay. Thank you once again, Predminator. Next week we'll be doing Alien 3. So I just that's like the 23rd. And we'll see you guys later.
Yeah. See you guys later. Thanks again, Predminator. Maybe between now and then we might pick up this conversation somewhere in the middle. I don't know. Matt's a busy guy. He's always got a lot of content flowing on his channel.
Mhm.
It is very interesting though, all this stuff. But yeah, we'll probably pick this up again another time.
Mhm. Have a good night.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Later.